Yeah, that's a lot of plastic, man. A lot of dolphins are choking on that right now. A lot of fucking wildlife is dying because of these. 20 years later, 25 years later, Chad. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content on my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. We can go ahead and start answering them. As I said before, if you're a Revenant or Juicy Answer subscriber, you have the ability to submit these questions, and I will answer them on stream. There will be some good times. They will be had, chat. I swear to you. But I'm going to answer these in the order at which I have received them. Of course, we'll go off on tangents, chat, and everything. I might spin off into other conversations, which is always so much fun. But we can go ahead and start with M. Xavier. M. Xavier91, thank you so much, good sir, for being a subscriber on the Patreon. I appreciate your questions. You got some good ones today. And we'll start with question number 1, chat. Please feel free to participate. I'm very curious. Yeah, actually, this was a good one. I'm curious to see how you guys feel this. I wrote some LLP fanfics in my time. I was popping one with a story I did about the Student 6 characters. I don't even know what any of that means. I don't know what the Student 6 are. Characters introduced in Season 8 of My Little Play. Wow, you're getting very specific. Who I absolutely love so much. I had to do something with them. Shit. All right. Maybe I'll read. I can read that fan fiction on my OnlyFans. That'll be hot. That'll be hot, bad boy. That'll be good. My question 1 from M. Xavier91. This is an interesting one, chat. I'm curious about how you guys feel about this. Is there a decade for films that you find difficult to watch due to pacing, special effects, acting, etc.? I mean, I'm not a big fan of, the 1890s, chat. When train arrives at station or the Great Train Robbery. It's like, those are a little slow. I mean, this is a hard question to answer, honesty. I mean, I guess that would be the most obvious pick because people were literally like, don't really know what we're doing. We're kind of experimenting with this whole photography thing, motion pictures. Like, that was like, it was unheard of. Like, how we do this? You would literally, people go into like a tent, sitting down, and they would show the screen, and the train would come down, and they go, and they would fucking freak out. They'd try crawling over each other, yeeting babies across the tent, trying to escape, chat, not knowing it was a moving picture. I mean, I mean, it's important for historical purposes and study that, but even I don't think that's a fair answer because they were figuring things out. Honestly, I thought about this. It was the first one I was thinking about. I was like, shit, I gotta take a moment, and I don't know. I feel like the one that, and I can only talk about the things I'm accustomed to or I'm used to or that I've lived through. Really. I mean, there's definitely periods of cinema where I do appreciate, like, I love stuff from the 50s and the 60s and 70s, 80s and 90s and 2000s, 2010s, all that. But I remember, like, there was a period of time that I thought was very weak, or we started to just see, like, a lot of the same shit, and I was just kind of bored with it after a while. And I think it's, like, the 2000s era, from, like, I want to say, like, 2000 to, like, 2007. Even like up to 2008. I feel like 2008, and I mean, not that there was bad movies, but I remember that like the 2000 era of blockbusters. The tail end got, I think, a lot better, but that era was weird. I mean, yes, you had some exceptions to the rule. You had like, you had X-Men, you had Spider-Man, you had those kind of films that were coming out, and they were informing what would we later get on that would be better. But like when I think of the 2000s eras, particularly like blockbuster films, I think of like a lot of Matrix ripoffs, like Underworld and like the Resident Evil movies. They all look the fucking same, Aeon Flux and stuff like that. Superhero films that weren't like X-Men or Spider-Man, so like Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Elektra, Hulk, Ghost Rider, like a lot of those films that they were just like, yeah, we're just throwing stuff at the wall and see if it works, and if not, who cares? We're still gonna make enough on these movies anyway to generate some profit, even if they're poor interpretations of these characters. Like a lot of bad adaptation, but at the same time, I mean, there was also good blockbusters during that period. I mean, the first Parts of the Caribbean was excellent. That's based on a fucking amusement park, right? We thought that's not gonna work, and it did. So there's exceptions to every rule, but I can only really talk about things where I'm intimately knowledgeable about, I feel like. And that era of a lot of those blockbuster films I thought were pretty weak. But again, you had exceptions. What about you guys? Like, is there like a decade where like, no thank you, I don't want to watch any of these? I'm very curious. Alex says the 50s series, where you're talking about the Lumiere brothers, Chris, they filmed the train. It was like 50 seconds came out in the late 1800s. It's like, yeah, I'm not big on that 50 seconds of theirs. 2008 was the worst year. See, I don't think it was the worst year because that year you had Iron Man, you had The Dark Knight. I mean, what else did we have? We also had, because that was like, to me, that's the birth of the modern day superhero film. Iron Man, Dark Knight, I view both of those as that's modern day superhero films, and that's continued on since then. You also had Tropic Thunder that year. You had some, like 2008, I thought was like a really good year. At least I can remember. 2010 says mediocre comedies. There a lot of bad comedies, yeah. But just there are some good movies in the 20s and 30s, like The General, King Khan, as well as the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, 2000s were odd. I did enjoy some, but most were not good. Tolerance was a good movie from the silent era. 2008 was stuck. 2008 being a pretty good year. At least I remember. Slumdog Millionaire came out that year. I find it hard watching movies from the 60s. They're 90-minute films that I feel like 2 to 3 hours long. No, that's fair. A lot of dead air. Yeah. That's a good pick, Xavier. Nice. 2008 was the worst year of 20th Century Fox. Oh, okay, getting very specific. Fair enough. Bat Boy 1984, I could say, is possibly one of the best years in genre films. That's true. Yeah, the 80s gave us some amazing genre movies, horror and sci-fi, fantasy. And Roy gave us Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Terminator, Nightmare on Elm Street, Dune, Flashdance. Are we bringing in Dune, really? And Flashdance. Amadeus is great. And Splash for some by Touchstone. And Tom Hanks' debut. Yeah, no, the 80s, that was a very good year for film. Very much so. Temple of Doom came out in 1984 as well. 2000s were kind of horror. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I think you reminded me, Chris Harris. Yes, 2000s were a really fucking rough time for horror, Chad. That decade, it just felt so uninspired and boring. Like the decade before it, you had the 90s, where like in the early 90s, everyone was like, horror is dead. Because you had all these 70s and 80s horror icons, and they had sequel after sequel to sequel and diminishing returns each time. But then in the 90s, I talked about this before, Chad. Check out my review for Scream. You had the first Scream that came out, Wes Craven's Scream, and that revitalized the horror genre, particularly the subgenre of the slasher, Chad. But then you got dozens and dozens of knockoffs of Screams, Chat, Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and all those. And then it kind of, petered out. I mean, it did get Scream 2, of course, and that series continued on to great commercial success and pretty, positive critical success as well. But then the 2000s were rough. The 2000s, to me, are just kind of defined by torture porn. So a lot of Saw. A lot of Saw was in there. Hostel, I think of that. Yeah, that was like around that time period as well. A lot of haunted house shit, a lot of ghost shit, which I'm just not a particularly big fan of. There's exceptions to the rule, of course, for me. A couple of films I like, a couple of supernatural horror films, but overall, just that was a really bad decade for horror. And I think it's gotten better in the 2010s. We've definitely we got some excellent films in the 2010s. Everything from Get Out to A Quiet Place and some other ones. Like when I think of like the 2000s, like some of the for me at least, the standouts in horror were like stuff like the Descent, which was like a weird movie that came out. That was a creature feature, had an all-female cast, set underground. So that felt like really unique. I mean, it felt more like a film of the 80s or something like that, which definitely drew inspiration from. But yeah, during that time, that movie was just weird. They're like, wow, this doesn't involve like a torture element or a ghost, a spooky ghost, or like an exorcism or something. We had found footage. That's true. Yeah, Cloverfield came out during this time. So, yeah, we did see the proliferation of found footage, which was started definitely by the Blair Witch. And there was some good found footage movies. Cloverfield's definitely up there. Wreck is definitely up there. But did Troll Hunter, did that come out in the 2000s, or was that in the 2010s? That might have been the 2010s. I don't remember. Let's see what else you guys were saying. The Descent was like the exception. That was like such a good movie. Really, really big fan of The Descent. 2000s, 2010s 3D era was, the 3D. That's where James Cameron, I remember like in Cameron's, when he released Avatar, 3D's the future, I'm bringing it back. It's not just a gimmick. It's just a gimmick. It just became a more expensive gimmick, chat. And then like for like up from 2009 to I want to say like 2016 or whatever, we just kept getting 3D movie after 3D movie. It's like, this doesn't need to be converted to 3D. Stop it. Remember that. Yeah. Spock, greetings, salutations to you, Spock. Hope you're living long and prospering. Studying film in college made me appreciate movies. I appreciate movies of all decades. That's the thing. I mean, even though, like, when I think of the 2000s, like, I think blockbusters for a period of time they were so samey and they just didn't feel inspired at all. They all felt the same. You still had some amazing dramas throughout that decade. I mean, stuff like The Aviator or The Departed, Gangs of New York. I mean, it's like that man, fucking Martin Scorsese was kicking ass during that decade. He was making some absolute incredible films. Like even there was the last few years, I thought Spielberg was really inspired doing stuff like Catch Me If You Can, which was such a great movie. And you had some good comedies during that time period too. I mean, you had like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. So there was some really fun ones. Hugo in 3D was. I never watched the 3D for Hugo. I remember liking the movie. That was one of Scorsese's films. That's like his family movie for kids. Saw was hell of the 2000s. You might, yeah. A lot of people, listen, I'm in the minority that's not the biggest Saw fan. I like the first film fine. I think I like the third one. After that, I'm like, not my thing. But I know I have some big Saw fans in the chat. I hate how they I hated how they used to always make these 2000 comedies like Norman. Oh yeah, the guy in the fat suit, farting, and he's so fat and he gets stuck. All that stuff. Yep. That's a subgenre of comedy, the fat suit comedies. True. Grandmaster 2010s indie horror, but yeah, 2010s like indie horror. That's proliferated. We've gotten some great stuff for horror in the last decade. It was really, really good. Really, really good. Yes. CJ the Boxer, good to see you, CJ. Chris, have you played Matrix? No, I'm thinking of playing that on Monday on DT Gameplay. I think that'd be good to do. I'm glad the 3D gimmick died down. Alec, I agree with you, though I'm scared that Cameron's going to insist on bringing it back with these Avatar sequels. It's like, wow, people abandon this, but I feel like these movies will showcase that 3D still has a lot of life, and I'm like, don't do it. I think that's what's going to happen again. And I don't want to, oh, God. I hope not. I really hope not. Blind Justice, 2000 was a good year for film too. Lord of the Rings. That's true. Yeah, there's exceptions, of course. There's our exceptions. Like the Lord of the Rings trilogy came out in the early 2000s. Finding Nemo, Bruce Almighty, Last Samurai, Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean was really amazing to me. In my disgustingly humble opinion, the best horror film of the 2000s was The Dark Knight. That was well, it's a scary movie. It's a scary movie. Some scary scenes. 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah, I'm not a fan of like the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I know I'm the exception. I'm not a big fan of Judd Apatow's style of filmmaking. I like funny people. I liked funny people a lot. It was funny. That was the movie that of his filmography I liked that no one else liked, and I was like, oh, I like this movie. And then all the rest of the stuff he did like Knocked Up and 40-Year-Old Virgin. I was like, I just don't get this. I don't like his style of filmmaking where I've dubbed it this. Literally it's Apatow filmmaking where I'm just gonna set a camera down and record my friends for 4 hours, and it'll just be riffing and jokes, and I'll take whatever's there and then put it in the movie. And I really just like that. I don't like that at all. Not my thing. Not my thing. Let me go play a game. Not Saw, thank you very much. Because at what age did you start watching old movies from the 30s, 80s? I feel like young. I was a young man. Like, I watched Universal Monster movies when I was a kid. So I was already obsessed. I was that weird kid, watching Frankenstein, original 31 Frankenstein at like 8. So I was watching those at a very young age. Funny, those the RZA's best performance. Goddamn right. Walk Hard. Walk Hard was good. I like Walk Hard. Go Apatow film as long as it's funny, except for This Is For You, I think it is. Gotcha. I never saw that one. This looked like another Apatow film, like another generic Apatow movie. No, if he did this is the end, but I love that movie. I don't think that's him. This is the end. Oh, I mean, this is. Oh, yeah. This is. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall. I like that movie though. I did like that. I watched classic horror and classic cartoons all the time. Yeah, same time. I grew up on like Looney Tunes and Disney stuff and those Universal monster movies. So I was already definitely indulging in all that, and I did like it. But yeah, I guess for me, you guys brought up some good stuff though. The fact that horror was just that genre was dead throughout the 2000s, with the exception of certain genres, which I really just immensely dislike, like torture porn and ghost movies and things. But I thought like there was definitely a period of blockbusters where, especially the superhero genre was still figuring itself out. Like, yes, X-Men, Spider-Man, those were setting the trend, of course. But it really wasn't until The Dark Knight and Iron Man where they were like, okay, this is how you do it. And it's like, oh shit, you nailed it. Yeah, exactly. So definitely 2000s era, I would say. Other than that, maybe the 1910s and 20s when they're trying to figure out how to make sound and all that. But now, Chad, we'll go ahead and move on to Tim Xavier's next question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have watched a shit ton of movies. While watching older films, have you ever thought to yourself, I wish they made movies like these nowadays? I feel like they're still making, it's not like, oh, back in the day they made better movies. And I feel like, listen, we're still getting some amazing films. I think like these last 2 years have been weird just because it's a fucking pandemic. We haven't seen anything like this in 100 years. So, people are saying like, oh, film sucks now. It's like, well, you got to context. I still feel like we're getting movies that are very much inspired of 80s filmmaking or 70s filmmaking, 90s filmmaking, across all different decades and things. Like, these movies never went away, really. They're still here. It's just like, what are we consuming? Our how we consume this entertainment is very different than how people did it back in the day. And what's popular then, maybe not necessarily as popular now. Like, Westerns were the biggest thing ever. Now, like, well, we get a couple maybe a year, but they're not the big draws anymore, of course. But I don't know. It's like, because I realized I was looking like, okay, what decade do I just really enjoy watching all these films from? And I have I noticed because I bought all these posters recently. I got them in these nice black glass frames and look really cool. Put them around my apartment. And I definitely have a lot of movie posters, and I have a big appreciation for movies from the 80s. So stuff like Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Big Trouble in Little China, or The Thing, and things like. So that kind of era always I get very nostalgic for, as a lot of people often do. And I just like the aesthetic of a lot of those movies. So I don't know, maybe like sci-fi and fantasy that is more akin to something like The Thing, or or something like Big Trouble in Little China. Like a lot of John Carpenter stuff. I see when anyone's inspired by John Carpenter, I really like that, and I want to see more of that. Because I feel like people didn't, and we see that more and more. I feel like people didn't really understand him or appreciate him for his time. And it wasn't until years later that people really got into his stuff. And now oh yeah, The Thing, when it originally came out, Chad, it was a commercial and critical disaster. It was considered one of the worst movies of 1982. And now it's a beloved horror film. Everyone says it's one of the greatest horror films and one of the greatest movies of all time. It's like, fuck, Jesus. It's like, that's crazy. People didn't understand Big Trouble in Little China, and now they say, "Oh, it's an incredible movie that is a critique on the sensibilities of the white man as an action hero." It's like, yes, that's what it was back then, but no one understood that at the time. And so we're getting all these films now that I feel like are taking a lot of what Carpenter did back in the day, and here's our version of this. We saw that most recently something like Thor Ragnarok, which is literally Big Trouble in Little China, except it's just with a bigger budget. So stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like the 80s sci-fi and fantasy, I just have a real love and appreciation for. And so more stuff like that. I'm all for it. Yes. There are some good ghost movies like The Haunting and Amityville Horror. The Haunting remake, which is ghost. See, I don't know which one you're talking about. There's so many versions. There's 15 different versions of The Haunting and 15 versions of the Amityville Horror. I assume the originals, which I have seen, and I like those movies. Such great adventure movies in the 80s. Yeah, ton. And it's funny because that decade also borrowed from the 30s and 40s and 50s. All those kind of films. Indiana Jones wouldn't exist without those 30s and 40s serials that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg watched when they were children. Yeah, 1982 was Fantasy Giant. It was indeed. Great. All the posters. Posters started to suck when we got to the 90s. That's when people got really lazy. You had a couple exceptions. Then 2000s on posters have just been awful. Awful. Yes. If you're looking for The Haunting and you see Liam Neeson, Owen Wilson, The Castle Void, that's the best. I've also seen that one. At least I think I have. I remember being really bored by it. Yeah. And good luck finding anyone who can defend John Carpenter's Vampire starring James. Even the greatest filmmakers in the world have made some bad movies. There's no doubt about that. And Carpenter's definitely made some bad movies. No question. Yeah, that's a good thing. I really like the practical effects from the 80s. And even though they may look dated, they fit the aesthetics of those films. I was recently talking about that in my video audio commentary, which I did for Temple of Doom, which is available on my Patreon right now. How there's stuff that's dated in that movie. It's blue screens and there's matte paintings and everything. But the aesthetic is consistent across the trilogy. And I never feel taken out. Whereas when we go to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it's it's all CGI and CGI monkeys and CGI ants and CGI jungles and CGI refrigerators surviving nuclear explosions. What the hell happened? It's this is not consistent with what those three other movies. Okay, it needs to feel more grounded. It needs to feel more gritty. Alien, M. Xavier is the perfect example. When I do my Alien reviews, one of the things that bother me about Prometheus and Covenant so much is that there is no consistency in the aesthetic from those original films, particularly Alien Aliens, where that future that we see in those first two movies, it's grimy, it's gritty, it's dark. Everything has big dumb buttons and knobs you gotta press and turn and pull. And this one, in these new movies, even though they take place in the past, it's the same thing with the Star Wars prequels. Even though they take place in the past, everything's a hologram and a touchscreen, and everything's clean. It's like, what the fuck? You forgot your aesthetic. And so I definitely like that 80s sci-fi fantasy aesthetic, where it definitely feels, it's fantastical, sure, but it also feels very lived in. It feels real, and you buy it, even if it does look a little dated. Like the world itself makes sense, and so maybe I miss that. I definitely miss maybe the way those movies, those types of films and those genres were made, and I wish a lot of that grittiness and realism and lived in this kind of would translate more instead of this hologrammy, Apple Store future. And some people are just so adamant about, like, it needs to be clean, everything needs to look nice. And it's like, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it can just be lived in. I prefer that. I definitely miss that. And the effects in the thing still hold. It's crazy how those practical effects look so good. That movie's going to be 40 years old next year, chat. It's going to be the 40th anniversary of the thing. And when you look at the 2010 film or 2011, whatever that other movie came out, those effects look so dated. The CGI in those movies, in the 2011 thing or whatever the hell it was, it's like, ooh, really bad. It's just crazy to think that a movie that's 40 years old looks better than a movie that's 10 years old. That's nuts to me. Yeah, it's because they use way more practical. They use practical effects. Practical effects always age better than CGI. And the reason why a lot of productions use CGI instead of practical, chat, is that CGI is actually cheaper. CGI is easier to use and manipulate, where practical effects, it could go wrong. It might break down. We got to reshoot. Where CGI, it's like, it's okay. We'll just fix it in post. That's what it is. I think that's made certain filmmakers lazy, or they're just not inspired. I think that's why Ridley Scott will never go back and ever make that. He'll never reach the heights that he did with the original Alien or Blade Runner or whatever, like during that period, because CGI is too easy. Same with Spielberg. Spielberg is the exact same way, where like with the Crystal Skull, it's that he would have had like all these practical effects. He would have had rats or snakes or insects and things or ants or something in this movie. It had to be practical. If it wasn't CGI, he would have had to do it that way. It would have made it look a lot better. But instead, we got CGI ants that look like shit. That's what happens, chat. And CGI monkeys who swing and save Shia LaBeouf from the Soviets. You have all that. But yes, we need more practical effects. It takes the soul out of them. Yeah, it takes the soul out of them. Yep. And I'm not going to hate train about CGI, because sometimes there is CGI that is fucking amazing. We've seen this recently in Dune this year. Dune has some of the best CGI I've seen all year. It looks great. Godzilla vs. Kong is big, dumb, giant monster fun, and you wouldn't be able to achieve what they did in that movie without CGI. Like, of course, there's great CGI, and it can be used extremely well. But there are certain cases where you don't need to use it, where it actually be better if you don't. There are cases where you need to, like a lot of big comic movies. Like, yes, Endgame would not be nearly as good without all that CGI, of course. That's why those movies from back in the day feel lived in. They were obligated to use more practical effects, more passion, so put in work. True. Yes. But a great question, though. Great question, M. Xavier. And more 80s sci-fi fantasy-esque things lived in. I just want that aesthetic. I like that aesthetic a lot. Not like I want 80s. Not like I want. Chris just wants 80s references. No. I don't want 80s references. I just want them to kind of recapture that aesthetic and lived-in feeling. I thought that was really cool, that we see in sci-fi and fantasy movies of that time period. Even shit like Krull. I want more stuff like that. With the rumor that Sony is making their own Game Pass, what are some of your favorite games from the PS1, PS2, and PS3 era? So yeah, allegedly that's what they're doing, chat, which I think is fucking awesome. I hope it's happening. Everyone should do Game Pass. They're probably not making a lot of money on it, but it's great for the consumers, chat. So I want to indulge in it as long as possible. But yeah, for like PS1 era, like all the Final Fantasy 1 ports of the for the PS1, definitely all those ports. 4 and 5 and 6, and I mean, obviously, 7 came out on that, on that machine, and 8 and 9, all those. Yes, please give them to me. Tactics, of course, all the original Resident Evils on the PS1, 1, 2, 3, definitely those. That'd be perfect. Wipeout. I want to play Wipeout. Wipeout was a great racer, chat, great sci-fi racer. And very cool. The Dino Crises. I guess Dino Crisis was 2 on the PS1 or was that PS2? But I forget which one. But definitely Dino Crisis 1 and a shit ton of JRPGs. Shit, PS1 was like one of the golden ages of JRPGs was like the NES and SNES and also the PS1. So give me shit like Wild Arms, baby. Yes, Wild Arms, please. For all that PS1 stuff. That'll have Metal Gear Solid, of course. Chef, famously Metal Gear Solid won't be great to have on there. Like, if you want to launch it, have some of these big games on here. I would personally. Dino Crisis was PS1 too? Cool. Thank you, Xavier. So definitely, yeah, Dino Crisis 1 and 2. I guess 3 was the PS2. Yeah, okay. So all those. PS2 era. I mean, you got all the platforms, of course, chat. So, I haven't played all of them. But yeah, Ratchet and Clanks. Get the Ratchet and Clanks up there. Get the Sly Coopers, the Jak and Daxters, the Prince of Persias. In terms of maybe the shooters they had on there, which I think is a little underappreciated series. Time Splitters. Let's get the Time Splitters chat. 1, 2. Was 3 also on the PS3? I think 3 might have been in the PS3. But yeah, get all those up there, chat. And of course, yeah, the PS2 era. And then with the PS3 era, chat, I mean, you got to get those blockbuster cinematic franchise. So yeah, obviously the Uncharted. Get the PS3 versions of those games. I don't know if they'll do that. But all the Uncharted's, Last of Us, of course. And then maybe some of their kind of, neglected games or neglected series. So Infamous. I don't know if we're ever going to see an Infamous again, chat. But that'd be cool to get Infamous 1, 2. It's DLC up there. The Resistance shooters, I think it'll be fun. The original Demon Souls might be cool, chat. So there's a lot of classics. But PS1 would be the one I'd be most excited about, just because it's like, ooh, get to play all those RP. It'll make it very, very, very convenient for me to play all those great PS1 games, and I have to not have to play them on, emulators and things. So PS1 would be great. I will pay to play those games, chat, again. I'll pay that monthly fee. It'll be great. Jonathan Christmas 3 was excellent. Oh, shit. I don't know if I ever played 3. I think I played 1 and 2. So I must have played Down Crisis 1 and 2 on the PS1. That's what it was. I never played 3. If it was neglected. I mean, you're not really hearing any rumblings of a new Infamous game. I mean, you had 1, you had 2, which came out in the PS3 era. You had the PS4's infamous Second Son, and now Sucker Punch is just going to be making Ghost of Tsushima for forever. So I feel like Infamous has kind of been thrown to the wayside. Well, we'll see, but I don't think it's coming out anytime. I don't think we're getting another Infamous game in a while. Not saying it's not good. I'm not saying it's not good. It's just I think it's just kind of been neglected at the moment by Sony. They're concentrating on other things, obviously. So other big franchises that they got. Clearly, Horizon's going to continue on. Ghost of Tsushima is going to continue on. I mean, they're going to do another Uncharted, whether it'll be Naughty Dog or not. Probably not a Naughty Dog, but they'll do another Uncharted with a different studio. And Ghost of Tsushima. So, that other new franchise. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, Infamous is kind of, they're like, well, we don't really know what to do with this anymore. So we'll see what happens. Get Wild Arms free. I'll have all the Wild Arms. I know there's like 5 of them now at this point, I think. I want that classic, man. I want that classic. Yeah, everybody. Thank you. Well, we'll get Ghost of Tsushima before. Yeah, exactly. No, we're going to get another. If we get another Infamous, it won't be from Sucker Punch. It'll be from a different studio. They'll put one of their other teams on it. But I don't think that's like in the cards for a while, for a very long time. PS6, I agree. I would be I'll tell you right now, I'd be shocked if we get another Infamous game. If we get an Infamous game during the PS5 generation. I feel like that's a PS6 thing. And say, hey, remember this franchise we forgot about? It's coming back. There you go. Denver's 3, they changed the third game from a survival horror to a third-person shooter that took place in space. I didn't even, yes, Dinos in space. I didn't even play that one then. Because I remember nothing from 3. I guess I only played the first 2. Give me that Wild Arms 3. Hell yeah. I think I played up to 3 maybe. Serious, I don't remember much of the PS1, but I did play Spyro in one of the, that's right. Spyro the Rugrats games. Yep, I remember that. Crash Team Racing. Though they did that remake, of course. But I want to play the OG Crash Team Racing. Yeah, I had very warm, fuzzy feelings about the PS1 chat. I mean, original Silent Hill on that too. But yeah, all those Final Fantasies, those Resident Evils, Wipeout, which I think is a super underrated racer. Not a kart racer, but just a sci-fi racer. Kind of similar to, oh shit, Captain Falcon, his whole F-Zero, kind of similar to F-Zero in a way. But you know the F-Zero game, chat. Nintendo will never make another F-Zero. They're like, no, more Mario Kart all the way. But I would like another F-Zero. Falcon Punch. That's what people just refer to him now. He's the Falcon Punch guy. Like he also had his own series for a while. Oh Lord. Oh yeah, remakes. That'd be cool. That might be a way to do it. Do like proper remakes, not just remasters, but remakes of both of those games. That'd be awesome. Don't mind that at all. But yeah, Chad, just to reiterate, PS1, Final Fantasies, Resident Evils, Wipeout, Dino Crisis, all the JRPGs that came out during that time. PS2, platformers, of course. That was the big platform generation. I would also like some Time Splitters on there as well. I'm a big Time Splitters fan. Is that coming back? Didn't they say? I think that's coming back. That series is coming back. I think they're doing a fourth one maybe. And then PS3, I mean, your big blockbuster franchises, Uncharted and Last of Us and Infamous Resistance. Demon's Souls. I think Demon's Souls. Since Demon's Souls and the Soulsborne games are in the pop culture zeitgeist, it'd be cool to have that one, since that was an exclusive one for Sony on the PS3. Chat, people forget. It didn't really get popular until like Dark Souls, but Demon's Souls was the progenitor, if you will. Next question from M. Xavier Chat. CJ Chris, what do you think of the new Wonder Woman game? I'm very excited for that. I can't wait. That was a nice little reveal. That was one of the highlights, I would say. I mean, he didn't say any gameplay, of course, which is always frustrating, but I was like, hey, you're working on that. It's made by Monolith, who are the makers of Shadow of Mordor and War for Mordor? Those games, the Mordor games. Which is like, oh, they'd be perfect for that. I could totally see that. So, yeah. I kind of also pictured like maybe God of War-esque, like the more recent God of War games. And be like, hell yeah, I'm all for that. I never thought, yeah, would make it great. I think have I talked about maybe like one of my, submitting questions for Class in the Glass. Maybe, I don't know if I brought up like, Wonder Woman game would be good, but if I haven't, shit, it's obvious. That'd be great. I'm very excited for Wonder Woman. Other highlight was Alan Wake 2 going full survival horror. So yeah, I'm very excited for Wonder Woman. I think that's going to be a really cool game. And they got a competent studio in charge of it. So nice. Moving on to the next question. I know you don't like sports, true, but what are some of your favorite fictional sports? For me, it's the sport in The Legend of Korra. What's it called? Bending Brawl? What's that? Oh, God, what's it called? Ball benders? What was that? Yeah, I remember that. I like that they, in Korra, which I'm mixed on. But I like that first. That's my favorite season. And they introduced that they've turned bending for firebenders and earthbenders and waterbenders into like a professional sport. And I was a witness me, KC. Thank you for the raid. Everybody on the dance floor. Raid. Thank you so much, KC. Welcome to stream. I hope you're doing very well. What were you playing today? What were you doing? Yes, Chris. It's called Ball Benders. I don't remember. I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember what it's called. Well, let me look up what it was. I don't recall. Legend of Korra Sport. Let's see here. Is this called Pro Bending? That's uninspired. It's just called Pro Bending. Oh, bullshit. That's uninspired. I like my ball benders better, chat. Want to bend some balls today? You bet, coach. Let's go bend them balls. Oh, lordy. Green Lantern MMO would be the best move for just Green Lantern MMO. They got the DC MMO. That's been going on for a while. KC, yo, Chris, hope your evening has been well. I just got done with some Sekiro. Oh, nice, man. And testing stuff with OBS, doing some tests. How was, are you far in Sekiro right now? Man, I couldn't beat it. That's one of the few games I did not beat on stream. I couldn't do it. It was driving me fucking nuts. That when you get, there's two bosses in there. One was the lightning guy in the tower. Fuck him. I beat him though, but it took forever. That was a 4-hour stream just fighting that guy. And then I couldn't beat the Great White Ape. I couldn't do it. But good luck to you, man. Chat, please do check out KC. Give him the support. See him through those battles. I could not accomplish. Do what I could not, KC. Do as I say, don't do as I do. And thank you again for the raid. Happy to have you here. Welcome. Chat, please do check out KC. Hope the testing's going well. The testing's always the hardest part, man. Trying to figure out, technical stuff is always a pain in the ass to deal with. So hope that's going well. Hope it's not too stressful or annoying. But yes, to answer your question, ball bending. Well, no. Other than that one, no. I had a couple one that came instantly to mind. Just fictional sports. Quidditch, of course. Yeah, Quidditch. I don't know who didn't, read the Harry Potter books and think of like, oh, that sounds so fucking cool. You're flying around, you're knocking people off with the fucking baseball bats, and you're throwing, balls through hula hoops, and you got to catch the golden snitch. Remember that, chat? That's what Harry's position was. He was the seeker, and your job, Harry, is to catch the snitch, because that's the only way you can end the goddamn match, chat, is to catch the snitch, while everyone else scores, and you have like 150 points or whatever. And so, I don't know. You got to make sure that the other team doesn't score too much, so you don't end the match too fast. But you catch that golden snitch is cool. So I remember playing that for like the old school Harry Potter video games in the PS1. the Sorcerer's Stone. I think also the Chamber of Secrets. I always like those little segments, Chad. Probably suck now. Probably are awful. But Quidditch is just, the whole idea of it's fun. And that crossover to real world. It's like there are Quidditch teams. Is that still a thing? Like in colleges and high schools or stuff? So, yeah, I know there's probably fan gatherings. But yeah, Quidditch is super fun. Quidditch is definitely up there, Chad. That's cool. And you know what? I mean, we criticize these movies, but I criticize this movie in particular, but I will say I like this sequence. It's pod racing. Pod racing in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is cool. Maybe that scene goes on for a little too long. You can definitely say that. But the whole idea of it's like, it's the NASCAR of Star Wars, and it's super dangerous. I mean, you have all these different machines and aliens piloting them, and they let a fucking 9-year-old boy into it, chat. He almost exploded. This weird frog guy almost killed little Annie. Yeah, pod racing is, and that fucking video game, chat. Episode 1, Pod Racer. That one was really fun. That was one of the best things that came out of the Phantom Menace, was that N64 game. I know they did a PS2 game, but N64 game, that's some good shit right there. And they did a remaster recently, I think. I think it came out to the Nintendo Switch like sometime within this year. Maybe it was last year. Gotta play some of that on stream, chat. So definitely pod racing. Oh, the question is good to know. Yeah, they in the old movies, because that's when they're trying to establish the whole like world and stuff. And so yeah, you get a lot of Quidditch in the first and the second film. I think after that you don't see much Quidditch. I think it's just kind of done. They're like, all right, we're done with this. I don't remember like anything in Azkaban. I think they skip it in like the other movie. They definitely skip it in all the other movies. I'm pretty sure. Or it's there, but it's just for a little. There's Quidditch. All right, moving on. It's like for a hot minute. But those other two movies, they got all the Quidditch in there. That's true. Very true. Yeah, because isn't that where Harry, that's when he's like doing the broom thing, and then the second one is when Malfoy's being an asshole, because he joins the Slytherin team, and they're fighting. Yeah, that's what, it was all in those first two movies, I think. Definitely. Quidditch is good in the old movie. Oh, I'm sorry, I just read that. Yes. Last year, I think. Gotcha. Yeah. So I gotta check that game out. I love Episode 1 Pod Racer back in the day, chat. I owe it to you. There's some other ones, chat. Rocket League. Listen, soccer. Us Americans aren't really big on soccer here, chat. It's like, I'm not big on any sport, but I'm just like, not my thing. But when you add fucking race cars to it and you're hitting a giant ball around an arena, that's fun. I would watch that sport. If that was thing and the anti-gravity and shit, going around the whole arena, just, doing loop-de-loops. Yes, thank you very much. I would watch that sport, and it's fun to play. Rocket League is one. They had an announcement today, or the other day at the Game Awards, about some Rocket League content that's coming out. So they're still putting out consistent stuff for that game. And it's fun to play. So Rocket League definitely, I think, is a cool little fictional sport. And chat, the last one, vampire baseball from Twilight. Remember that scene in the first Twilight movie? And it kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like, we're going to go play baseball because the sun went down. It's always cold and wet in the Washington, chat, the state, not the city. And Bella, you want to play baseball? He's like, I don't know how to play baseball. I don't know how to do anything. I just don't like stuff. And he's like, well, let's go play baseball, Bella. And I was like, you know what? I would like to see a whole series. It's like, do all vampires play baseball? Is that a thing? I want to see a vampire baseball league. I want to take that idea and work with it, chat. That would be really fun. You have like different eras of vampire, baseball teams. From one from the 20s and maybe one from like the 1700s. It'd be cool. So definitely vampire baseball is high on my list. That scene is just fucking bonkers. It's like, oh, this is happening. Oh, this is real. It's so fucking weird. It's like, it's not bad. It's just weird. Oh my Lord. So definitely Hunger Games. I don't know. Well, that's battle. It's pretty much battle royale. Bunch of kids slaughtering each other, which is always fun to watch. I mean, I won't disagree with that. I won't say it's not entertaining. I totally understand why the people of the Capitol are into that kind of thing. Yeah, let's watch all these pretty kids murder each other. Hell yeah. You know that all the kids in those movies are pretty? They don't send any ugly kids to fight in the Hunger Games, chat. It's always the prettiest kids. It's like, because I guess no one would cheer for the ugly kids. Yeah. But those would be my picks, though. Quidditch, pod racing, Rocket League, and vampire baseball, chat. Hell yeah. It'd be like League of Our Own with vampires. Exactly. It'd be very, very entertaining. CJ Chris, do you watch the Demon Slayer anime? Yeah, I've watched a couple episodes. I have. I've done a review for them as well. Eventually, one of them will be uploaded on my... I think I've done like 2 or something, 2 or 3. I've reviewed some of it. I've seen some of it. I want to watch the rest of it, but I did like it. Mm-hmm. After that, chat, moving on from that question. So again, Quidditch, pod racing, Rocket League, and vampire baseball for me. I'd watch all those sports professionally. I know you say, like what you like, dislike what you dislike, but are there any movies, TV shows, games, etc. that are exceptions to the rule? No, I mean, really, there's not. I mean, I mean, I could vehemently hate something. I can, like I've told you about many things that I don't like, chat, and I dislike vehemently. But if you like it, that's like, well, you know, I'm not gonna say you're wrong and dumb and stupid. And I was like, no, I mean, it's whatever. It's like, okay, we disagree. So I'll just explain why I don't like them. If I'm asked, can't convince another person otherwise. You know, I'll just you know, share my opinion and move on. I don't think there's no, this is just bad. It's like, if you like something, even if most people don't like it, they say that is stupid and I hate it, and you're like, well, I like it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So no, I'll just tell you why. If I'm asked, I'll just tell you why I don't particularly care for it. But if you like it, totally fine, totally good, chat, totally good. Oh man, I saw people that love Norbit. Listen, there are some funny scenes in Norbit. I have to admit, I laughed maybe a couple times. Is it a good movie? No, it's a bad movie. But I can't. I found myself snickering on occasion, chat. I think my Norbit review, I think, is on my YouTube channel, so you might want to check it out. Share my opinion on that film. But yeah, for me, it's like, no. I'll just tell you I'll just explain why I might not like it, but if you like it, that's totally fine. And then we're moving on to your next one. Final question, Chef. Final question. There are a lot of actors who kind of, it cost Eddie Murphy. Now, that's bullshit. The fact that movie supposedly cost him his Oscar, which I think he definitely deserved to win. Who won that? Alan Arkin? Well, Alan Arkin was good in Little Miss Sunshine, but I'm like, I don't think he deserved to win. And, you know, Eddie Murphy killed it in Dreamgirls. And so that's that fucking bullshit I hate with award ceremonies. I mean, it gets very political about, like, well, he was in this bad movie, so therefore he shouldn't get it for the good movie. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, that's the same shit that they put with Adam Sandler when he didn't get an Oscar nomination for Uncut Gems. Although, to be fair, that was a very competitive year. But I was like, he was definitely one of the actors I felt like should have been nominated. But that's that whole weird culture of the you know, the Academy. I just don't understand it. This pisses me off. But moving on to Xavier's Millennial Prince, good to see you. I hope you're doing Hollywood's Fellowship. They are. They absolutely are. And the Oscars is proof. I mean, it's cool. Like I said, like I'm happy that you have certain films that are getting nominated and recognized. Like something like Parasite was such a great movie. It's a foreign film. It's from South Korea. But a lot of people have heard of it. But I had seen, a lot of you guys had seen it. It's like, whoa, this movie's so goddamn good. And it got that platform and it was honored, which is really cool. But, you know. So it's the you know, the pros and the cons. You got to go back and forth with them. There's some bullshit with the Oscars. There's no doubt about it. And the ceremony itself fucking sucks. There has to be a better way to honor filmmaking, because it should be honored. It should be held up and go like, hey, look what we did. Look at how cool this is. It's like, yeah. And the way these fucking people do it, you know, at the Oscars or the Golden Globes, it just sucks. There has to be a better way to do it. And like most of the Game Awards. You know, there's just these ceremonies, award ceremonies, are just inherently flawed. They need to be fixed. They need to be streamlined. Ducky and Henry, thank you for gifting a sub to Millennial Prince. I appreciate that, good sir. Thank you so much. 85 gifted subs. Thank you, Ducky and Henry. Thank you, Stefan. Absolute pleasure to have you here. Uncut Gems was quite a unique movie, and I agree it was it was just a huge year. It was just quite a year that Parasite won the Oscar that year, and glad that Korean foreign language film was honored. It was amazing. Those are great. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. Ceremony itself is just a TV show. It's like a variety show. It's just like, I hate that shit. It drives me up the goddamn wall. I got me sucked just for the same. Probably, yeah. I haven't watched the Grammy. I don't think I've ever watched the Grammys, but I believe that. They all have that weird flaw that we gotta add comedy bits and you know, I mean, that's the thing that really kills it. You have all these comedy bits that come in, and it's like, just strip all that fucking shit out. Take it all out. Let's talk about these films instead. Let's do that. That would be far more interesting than having these actors come up. Like, case in point, most recently, chat, when we did the Game Awards, which was fun. By the way, it was such a fun stream. Glee, welcome, Sharon. Just saw you there, Glee. Glad I could catch some of the cast. Good to see you, Glee. No, don't worry. We're just in the first group of questions, so there's still a lot more class in a glass cast for your ass of a little bit of sass. Plenty for your ass, so don't you worry. Plus, we're going off on tangents, so that always expands the show. Always draws it out. But case in point, like most recently, we during the Game Awards, you had Simu Liu come up on stage and did this comedy bit, and just fucking it just halted everything, and it makes it feel long. And it's like, go up there, present the award, talk, maybe mention something in regards to why you like these nominees. Like, yeah, get personal with it or something, but don't try to make it about you. That's the problem I have, is that he and like other people who did the same thing time and time and time again, he made it about himself. And I hate that shit. That really bothers me. And it's like you're just killing the momentum, and you're taking away from the people who made this thing that should be honored and should be given respect. And I don't like it when they go like, oh, I'm watching, look on my phone, I act like I don't care. That's the other thing that bothers me. Like, I don't give a shit what I'm doing because I'm doing this other thing right now. So fuck you. And I'm like, I don't like it. But Chris, he's the charismatic new actor people care about. I don't care. I don't care. These are words you just don't. They don't understand people. It's weird. I don't know. I would love to. I don't know. I just love to sit down like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking with this stuff? It's weird. I think the same people who do the Oscars also do the Golden Globes and the Grammys and the Emmys and the Game Awards. There's some consistency between all of them. I'm like, why is that? Why do they all have the same problems? Maybe because they're just inherently flawed. I don't know, Jeff. Anyway. Moving on to the next one. It's dealing with actors, though. It's dealing with actors. I'm watching Twitch. I relate to the youths. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. That's just like, I'm watching gameplay on Twitch, you know, like the rest of you. Like, didn't he, like, insult us or something? Did he say, like, all those fucking nerds? I was like, all right, Simalu. Simmer down. Take it easy. Oh, Lord. There are a lot of actors who kind of play the same character in almost all of their movies. The two that I think do this the most are Denzel Washington and Robert De Niro. Why do we praise these actors even though most of the time they play a character we're used to seeing them play? And you're right, man. I agree with you. I've even brought up that Denzel Washington and Robert De Niro, they do consistently play themselves in a lot of things. Maybe there's occasionally an exception. I think maybe Robert De Niro changes up a little bit more than Denzel. But for the most part, you're right. He's typically playing the same thing. I think the reason why we consistently praise them, even though, you know, they made some duds in their time, particularly Robert De Niro, I would say in the last 20 years, he's made more duds than maybe Denzel has. But they often are in good projects, or the material is just so inherently good that it elevates their performances. So, well, I mean, with Robert De Niro, he has, you know, some pretty good luck to find himself in projects like, you know, Raging Bull and Taxi Driver, and Awakenings and Goodfellas and Casino and all these other films that he did throughout his entire career. Like, truly iconic movies that are held up like, this is fucking masterclass cinema. And Denzel's the same. He's the same case with things like Training Day or Glory or Man on Fire. Or, you know, you pick it. You pick it. Like, yes, they are very much playing themselves. There's no question about that. But thankfully, the material is just so good, it makes them look even better. I think that's what often happens. Is that's why you can have these actors maybe consistently play the same thing over and over and over again. But thankfully, the thing is just so good that you're like, oh, they're great and they're perfect. So I think that definitely plays a role into it. Blind Justice, in my opinion, I think Ratchet and Clank RV should have won over It Takes Two, but I'm glad It Takes Two won. I'm happy too. It was a weird year. It's like it could have really gone to anybody. I've been like, it's fine. Robert De Niro is one of my favorite actors. I love him in damn near everything. That's not your grandpa. Meet the Fockers. That's right. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Malcolm X is not Denzel playing. That's true. That's true. That's one where he was very much a totally different character. When Joe Pesci won his Oscar for Goodfellas, he just said thank you and walked to the stage. Class. I love that. He's like, thank you. He didn't expect that. He said, I didn't expect to win. I love that. That's one of the greatest Oscar speeches of all time. Thank you. Goodbye. Or whatever he said. I think he said thank you, maybe something else. But it was super quick. I think it's hard to find balance since it's also important for actors to bring their own unique vibe to a role. Good point. No, very good point. Guys, Flight. Which actually, I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, but his performance is excellent. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's really the material that elevates their performances. I think that's consistently. Because, I mean, there's been some duds. Well, what was that movie that came out recently of Denzel where he was playing himself, but it was that murder mystery one with Jared Leto and Rami Malek, who was doing like a weird voice again. Like that one, he was very much just playing himself, but the material wasn't good, and therefore his performance was bad. And I think that maybe that puts it more out there that he's like, you're just kind of playing yourself, aren't you, Denzel Washington? The little things, that's what it was. I didn't even see it. No one else did either. Yep. Baby G.G. Diddles is one of my favorite actors. The Equalizer, Malcolm X. Remember the Titans. List goes on for me. Denzel got robbed for Malcolm X. I don't know what came out that year. I'm trying to remember who won the best actor that year. I don't think so. That's what I kept hearing. Everyone's just saying this movie's bad. I was like, well, I'm not missing much. But I think it's just because they have typically gravitated towards iconic movies or roles where it's like, yeah, they're acting. It's consistently good. But you're right. They do play themselves in a lot of things. But we let people ignore that because the material is so well written. Or they're well directed. Son of a Woman. Was that that year? Was it Al Pacino? Oh, Al Pacino's really fucking good in that movie, though. Ooh-ha! Charles? I don't know. That's, ugh. And the reason why they give it to Al Pacino because he got snubbed. I think it's political again, where it's like he got snubbed all those other years throughout the 70s and 80s for all those amazing movies. Though he was really good. You never saw Son of a Woman? Son of a Woman is an excellent film, if you've never seen that. She's got a great, well, that's Heat. That's very much Heat, but he is playing. Al Pacino, he was playing, it's weird. Al Pacino had like a point in his career where he was very much like taking all these different roles. He wasn't the same person. And then something happened in the 80s where he became just, like, I don't know if it was all the drugs or the alcohol, like his voice fucking changed. If you listen to Al Pacino and funny enough, that's one of my answers today is The Godfather. But if you listen to him like as Michael Corleone, The Godfather 1 and 2, and like him in Heat, it's like, what the fuck happened to you? Why is your voice so, his voice is so different. He's a great ass. That's what happened. It was that ass, and that just changed everything. So it's really weird to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like you never know. Oh my God. But it's, yeah, I want to know, like, what movie, where did the change happen? Was it over time? Because I don't feel like it was over time. I feel like it was instant. Like, something happened to him. I don't know. It was the 2000s. He was doing that in the 90s. I mean, he was doing that in, like, Devil's Advocate. He was doing that in Heat. He was doing that in Son of the Woman. So I feel like it had to be, like, the early 90s or super late 80s when that happened. I think it's the 80s. Yeah. He just got sick of losing out. Of course, he's like, and they're like, oh, he's gonna attack. Maybe it was Scarface. That could be it. Yeah, because he was doing the ridiculous, over the top Cuban accent in that movie. It was the coke. It was real. It was all real coke. He didn't know. He thought, what are you talking about? Why do I sound like this? Oh my Lord. After he knows, that's when it all changed for him. Chris, thank you for the 5 biddies. Appreciate you, good sir. But that is the last question from M. Xavier. M. Xavier, thank you for submitting these questions. I really do appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for being a subscriber on the Patreon. I hope you're enjoying enjoying the content, and I hope you can submit more questions next week. But thank you so much. And now, chat, we'll move on to Stefan Henry, also known as Ducking Henry in the chat, who is also one of the other people, along with M. Xavier, who joined us for the Discord discourse conversation about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. 2 hours and 42 minutes. That's how long the conversation was. Good material. But now we'll move on to Stefan Henry's. Hey, Chris, let's take it back where it all started. To when your juice was still pulpy. I can't think of a good young juice modifier. That's fine. I'll take it. Question 1. What was your first game that made you truly immersed, and did you find it during childhood? I think, yeah, definitely. Witness me, the mad kind. Thank you so much for the raid. Everybody on the dance floor. Raid, thank you. Matt, how you doing? It's a mad raid indeed. Thank you so much. How you guys doing tonight? Who are the good people? We got David Styles. We got Stevie Business. That's a great name, by the way. That's a great name. Papa Cam. You got your followers and subscribers have some quality names, man. I'm loving this. Very nice. What are you guys doing today? Welcome to stream. We're just doing it's a show called Class in the Glass Cast, where I read my very generous patrons' Patreon questions and give them not just yes, no, or maybe answers. I give them thick, robust, girthy, well-endowed answers. Just spent like the last hour just answering just about 4 questions. That's what we do here. Absolute pleasure to have you here. Ray Lind 89, welcome to stream. Quality names, quality people. That's right. The Action Maniac. Look at that, Papa Cam. You can call me Daddy, too. Matt doesn't know that, though. I'll call you Daddy, Papa. Daddy Cam. Ooh, Daddy Cam. Oh, I don't know which one I like better, Papa Cam or Daddy Cam. I'm kind of leaning towards Daddy Cam now that you said it. Oh, that's hard. That's very hard. I'll go back. I'm going to call you both back and forth. Oh, yeah, I do encourage you to refresh. Since whatever reason, raid viewership does not count towards average viewership. Twitch. But no, an absolute pleasure to have you here right now. What was on your docket today, my friend? Daddy Cam is kind of saucy. Daddy Cam sounds like a little dirty. Papa Cam's like, oh, it's Papa Cam. Oh, that's like wholesome. Like you're watching you're making sure your kids are okay. Papa Cam, a Daddy Cam. That's like, oh, that's lustful. That's very lustful. Oh, Papa Cam / Daddy Cam the follow. You're my new Grinch. You're my new Huckleberry. Welcome to stream. Oh, charity stream and community games. Nice, man. Yeah, charity streams are amazing. I just did one this past Thanksgiving. I got to do another one soon. Very cool, very cool. Congratulations on your first charity stream. Glad it was fun. Glad you raised some money for the kids or whatever organization you're raising it for. Thank you. Who is this? Rayland89. Thank you, the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. You're my new Grinch. A pleasure to have you here. Very nice. Daddy Cam sounds like he'll give you the best 2 minutes. Yes, the best 2 minutes. Very much so. Oh, my Lord. No, again, pleasure to have you here. Just answering questions right now. Moving on to the next group of questions. Please do stick around. Please indulge. Please go on tangents with us. We'll go hand in hand down these tangent journeys of ours. It'll be fantastic. But again, thank you so much, Mad. Please appreciate that, Raid. Chat, please check out the Mad Kai. Follow, subscribe, donate, support in any way you deem fit. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Papa Cam, I like your role. Thank you, man. It was a pleasure. Hey, always good to see new people, new faces here. For those of you who might not know who I am, my name is Mr. Revan7. I also Rev, Chris, Juicy. I'm a man of many names. I'm a variety streamer. I do movie reviews. I do toon reviews, cartoon reviews, TV reviews. I play video games, single-player games, multiplayer games, podcasting, all of it. I got all sorts of platforms, Twitch, YouTube, OnlyFans, all sorts of good stuff, of course.
You're a mean one.
Thank you!
Mr. Grinch.
The Action Maniac. Thank you for the follow.
You really are a hero.
Thank you so much for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry, my new Grinch. Pleasure to meet you, Grinch. Papa Cam, thank you for subscribing.
Mr. Grin.
If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him. Thank you so much. And a fellow Scrooge now. Appreciate it. No, thank you so much. A Revanite, Papa Cam. Thank you so much. And I like you already as well. Pleasure. But this is Classic Alaska, as I said. Just reading my patrons' Patreon questions, having some nice conversations. Please do stick around if you choose to. Again, thank you to the Mad Kai for the very generous raid. And thank you for the lurk, man. No problem at all. You get your sleep. I understand. It's almost midnight. I don't know what the time zone is for you. Might be even later. So, no. Sleeping is the priority right now for you. So, thank you for sending your people over to me. I'll have to return the favor soon to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to Pop. I like you, dude. Won me over with that poll. Young Justin X-Men both so good. Oh, thank you. Thank you to my incredible mods putting that poll up there. I do them the tune reviews. I got to review those soon. One day. I have such a backlog of content to get to. But now, chat, we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. This is again from Stefan. Thank you, Stefan, for being a subscriber. On the Patreon. Question 1. What was your first game that made you truly immersed? And do you find it during your childhood? Yes. You know, it was definitely during, I want to say, it was during the 360 kind of PS3 generation, where I started to really appreciate games as like a storytelling platform. Like, I already had KOTOR on the PC, and I love that game. But I was still pretty young when I played it. And I was stupid. I was dumb. And it wasn't until when I was definitely getting in like my mid-teen, I guess early teen years, mid-teen years, when I started to have a greater appreciation for the medium. And it was with the first Mass Effect that really made me immerse and really care about that world and those characters and that story. And then after Mass Effect, which came out in 2007, I would say, BioShock 2. BioShock was also one of those games, that world, which was a critique on Ayn Rand and libertarianism. You know, this underwater utopia that became a dystopia, I thought was so interesting. And that twist, of course, like, whoa, one of the greatest twists in all video game history. And, you know, something which I'll talk about again. That's actually related to another question I got. But after that, Dead Space, you know, which at that time I had already seen Alien and The Thing, and maybe even Event Horizon by that time, and those were clearly the big inspirations for this game, and I loved it so much. It became my favorite horror. It still is my favorite horror game to this day, nearly 15 years later. And then Fallout 3 was my first exposure to the Fallout franchise. and exploring the capital wasteland, this bombed out DC, meeting all of these weird people, organizations, and monsters, super mutants, that one. But then, yeah, the cream of the crop, the one that definitely just made me truly fall in love with the genre and want me to do something with it in my life, which I am now doing now. It's Mass Effect 2. It's my favorite video game of all time. It maybe showed how you can provide so much depth to these characters that you really do. You fall in love with them. You love hanging out with them. And I think that's even what BioWare started to realize is like, oh shit, we should lean into the character stuff more and more and more and more. And we're finally the last thing of Mass Effect 3 DLC we got, which was all about loving the characters. So Mass Effect 2 for me is the ultimate one. But I will say Mass Effect, BioShock, Dead Space, Fallout 3. Those where I felt really immersed and really fucking into those games. Definitely. Oh. Robert, I'm going to say it. You said just watching Go the Way for the first time in a very long time. Man, I like that movie. It's fun. It's a fun movie, man. It's a fun movie. I've done a review. I've done a full-length video and audio commentary. It's like, it's got issues. It does. But it's fun. Put the cookie down, but now. It's great. It's great. Yes. Objectivism is an evil philosophy. Yes. Action Maniac Dead Space was the first horror game I played. Oh, really? The first one you ever? Wow. You're a baby. Action was the first horror game I ever played, and it freaked me out so bad. I love that game, man. I mean, it's totally homage to Alien. The Thing takes the best of both of those and creates a beautiful, disgusting monster to enjoy that we can all enjoy together. Crimson Knight, it's Dragon Age is another. You know what? Definitely Dragon Age. I was really Dragon. I'm just thinking of like the ones that I felt like really, truly invested. But Dragon Age is definitely up there. Dragon Age Origins, especially. That was a big one for me. No, pleasure to have you here, Crimson Knight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got a lot of quality people here right now. Nice. Nice. And Daddy Cam. Love that. Question 2. What was the first film remembered to make you truly cry? No one tear nonsense. Actually, you know what? Before I move on, is there any other people who, what was the first game you felt truly immersed? I should probably ask that first. Was there like a particular title they were like, this is my life right now. I'm loving this. I'm indulging in it. Bathing in it, Ethan. I'm curious. Any of you guys? For Blind Just for your favorite game of all time was Jak 2. Jak 2. You're one of those PS2 platformer kids. Bat Boy for me, Ocarina of Time. That was the first game. That was the first game I played that had an open world. Yeah. I see that. I've been hungry for more spacious games, the linear dungeons that dress up the game just nicely. So the whole thing does not feel monotonous. It's a hard balance. Hard balance to do that. Action Maniac says, for me, it was Sly Cooper 2. Another PS2 platform kid. This was anime movie was so I like that. There are two, I guess. I only saw the first one. Downfall. I talk about that should have been brought up a couple times in my my streams in the past. I remember liking the movie. It's a solid film. It was entertaining. Nice little prequel movie. I never saw the other one. I guess sets up the events of Dead Space 2. Never saw it. I'm Xavier says Uncharted 2 and KO City. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I know you're the big KO City fan. That's right. I gotta go back to that. Just had some technical issues with that game. You know, a lot of rubber banding, frame rate drops. Slide 2 Kingdom Hearts. We got a lot of PS2 kids here. Curse B, Mario Kart DS for me. Papa. Final Fantasy 9 when I was in 6th grade. My man. It's good to see a fellow Final Fantasy 9 player in here. 9 is one of that's probably my second favorite Final Fantasy game. Favorite is 6. But then I'd have to say 9. And then 4. Good to have a 9 fan in here. Very nice. GTA and San Andreas, a lot of GTA games, but yeah. GTA San Andreas for you, I'm Xavier versus man for GTA 4. Blind Justice Diablo 2. Yes. I can see that. Baby GG, I think it was one of the Call of Duty games. It was either Modern Warfare or the World War II one. The one they introduced zombies for the first time. First image for you, Stefan. Crimson Knight, old school here. Fantasy Stars is back on Jenna. Ooh, going real old school space. First, a space opera JRPG. You know, I never played the Fantasy Star series, but that's awesome, man. Really cool. Oh, good to have one of the OGs here. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, as far as my like old school RPG goes back, I mean, definitely like a lot of the original Final Fantasies. You know, in terms of JRPGs, I never played Fantasy Star. Maybe check that out one day. One day, I'll have plenty of time. I'll be doing this forever. But good answer. I like that. Nice one. Blind Justice, hey, what can I say? There are no. PS2 was that was the platform king. That was the platform team of that console era, of that generation. That's a good answer. I like it. I like the variety of the answers, Daddy. Immersive Red Dead 2. Another one. Yeah, you're immersed in that world. Ducking, I had played plenty of games before, but that made me feel so in control. And no, I get you. I mean, yeah, we could have played like all these games that we love, but there's just something about a particular game. It could be years later. that just like, oh shit, it just hits you. To me, that was like, Mass Effect 2. That was the one. Like there was others, as I mentioned before, but there's something about Mass Effect 2 that really just hit me. I loved it. I got immersed into Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube. Oh yes, yeah, that was one of the few like movie-based tie-in games during that period that was actually really good. It's just so fun web swinging in that game. It's true. That game nailed it. If we want to go back to further when I was younger, it was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Mortal Kombat. Sega Genesis. Yeah, I wasn't a Genesis guy, so I never played any of those games. Any of those Sega games. Another person, Danny of Tron 4 gave me a warm fuzzy. Oh, definitely gave me the warm fuzzies. Like, yeah, I got the warm fuzzies during that. I was like, yeah, they nailed it. You ended it perfectly. Obviously, 9 is my favorite. 12 is close. I hear a lot of love for 12. Nice. Very cool. Castlevania Portal. Oh, great. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. But now I have to play the Portal games on my stream. I have not yet done so. I gotta play Portal 1, Portal 2. I gotta play some of the Half-Lives. Yeah. Very nice pick. That ending song. Oh, so good. Uncharted 2 is fantastic, yeah. It's always between Uncharted 2 and 4 for me for my favorite Uncharted game. Oh, Spider-Man PS4 is still the only game I've ever gotten. All the yeah, I think that was the matter of fact like the most platinum game out of any PS4 game is Spider-Man. People just fucking loved it so much. Crimson, my favorite Final Fantasy, is Final Fantasy 4. That's fine. AKA Final Fantasy 2 and that's the NES. Yeah, the numbering was different depending on what console, what market it came out on. Right. Now 4 is great. 4 is probably my third favorite. So I'm right there with you. Papa Chris, I think we're your best friends. Yay, Papa, welcome. Thank you, Daddy. You're my new daddy. Pleasure to have you here. Mine is Grandia 2 also, or Alundra. I never played those. Rogue Galaxy from M. Xavier. Because Chris said daddy. I'm going to keep saying daddy. Also, Witcher 3. Oh, yeah, Witcher 3. Persona 5, of course. It's 200 hours. 200 hours for both of those. I can't always remember the first one, but the one that always got me is Red Dead Redemption 1. Definitely. Just sounds right. Might have to change my name. Oh, I mean, no. What do you prefer? Daddy can or Papa can? See, Papa sounds wholesome, but I'm a dirty, disgusting streamer, as the people here would tell you. They know what I'm about. Mm-hmm. Papa opinion. I enjoyed Fallout 4 more than 3. That's fine, man. Hey, look at I have a saying here. I was just talking about this earlier. Like what you like, dislike what you dislike. We can agree to disagree. Whatever floats your boat. I'll tell you why something I may not like something. You can explain why you don't like something. That's totally fine. We can have conversations here. I try to create a very positive environment where we can share our opinions and not, poo-poo anybody, of course. We can have disagreements, which I think is totally fine. But I just love having a nice little back and forth, a nice debate, if you will. But no, man, I like Fallout 4. I'm not, I think I like Fallout 3 more, but I'm not one of those guys like Fallout 4 was the worst. I like Fallout 4. I did. I've not streamed, funny enough. I've played all those games, but I never streamed them. I've only been streaming for about 4 years, 1 year full time. And so one day I want to stream all these Fallout games. I bought them all on like Steam for like $1.79 when they have like a super sale or something. And so I think that'll be fun. I'll eventually play Fallout 4. I liked it. To each their own. Kimp89 says, agreed. That's my policy, man. Yeah. Yeah, you had more time. Yeah, you had more time and you're not feeling rushed when you're playing like some of the other ones. I get you. Yeah, no problem at all, man. I like 4, so. That's me. Daryl McCoy, good to see you. I hope you're having a very nice evening. Just currently doing Class in a Glass Cast for Hospital Sass. Answer my very generous patrons' Patreon questions. It's been a fun time. An absolute pleasure to have you here. Hope you're doing well. Hope your Saturday's treating you with much respect. Hellblade's newest Fractals. I still hurts. I got to play that. I know that the sequel's coming out very soon. I have to play the original one. You know what game doesn't really hold up? GoldenEye 007 You know what? It probably doesn't. You're right, but I have such nostalgic feelings for that. I think that's my answer to one of these upcoming questions. Again, it's N64 first-person shooter. Of course, not going to hold up, but man, many a summer back in the late 90s, chat, playing that with friends. Good times. But now move on to the next question, chat. This is only question 2. We're on question 2. I have so many other questions to do. What was the first film remembered to make you truly cry? No one tear nonsense. I'm talking weeping. Like as a child? Because I was trying to remember. It's like maybe I cried during Lion King or something when Mufasa died, but I couldn't remember. But I definitely remember crying watching The Neverending Story, chat. And this was in the 90s. It must have been the late 90s on VHS, running this movie from Blockbuster. And you know the scene I'm talking about where the horse, the Artax, drowns in the swamp. So that was the thing. And he's like, Artax! What was his name? Atreyu? Atreyu's like, fucking Artax! The horse is like, all right, leave me, I'm dying. It's too hard. He fucking drowns. He drowns in the mud, chat. And then he meets that turtle who doesn't give a shit about anything. That's the last thing we need. And it's like, fuck you, turtle. But when Artax, I feel like I definitely cried when Artax drowned in the mud. I was like, that was a big one. That horse was like, I am done. That horse gave up. That horse, I had never seen a horse just give up on life. And I was like, those filmmakers did a great job of making that horse just wish it was dead. That was an amazing scene. Like E.T., I cried at E.T., but I think I had seen The Neverending Story before I saw E.T., and this was very young, so I must have been like 7. So this is late. I don't know, I guess it was like 98 maybe. I guess I was like 7 or 8 at the time. So I think I saw E.T. after. I did cry at the end of E.T., but I'm trying to think of the very first time. I think it was Artax when Artax died. I think that was the big one for me, chat. Stupid horse. He's not stupid. Land Before Time. Maybe I cried. Maybe I cried when Littlefoot's mom died. I don't remember. I don't remember. I remember Artax dying. I was an emotional wreck. The Swamp of Despair. Hell yeah. So that movie in the 5th grade, we watched it in class. Did anyone cry when that happened? You're probably too old. You're too old to appreciate the trauma of that entire sequence. Boy, I'm such a loser, but I cried at the end of Scooby-Doo Curse of the Sea Monster because I wanted a dog. That's amazing. Oh, that's great. I love that. I think maybe I cried at Homeward Bound. The first one where, what's his name? The old dog seemingly died, the golden retriever, but he came back. But it was like, oh, he's fucking dead. You remember when he fell in that fucking hole? It's the same context, chat, where Artax is like, fuck it, I'm dead. But then you had that old golden retriever that fell into that hole. Didn't he fight like a wolf or a bear to save the other two? The cat and Michael J. Fox dog or whatever the hell it was. And he's like, just leave me, I want to die. And they just left him there. But then he came back at the end and was like, no, you should have kept that dog dead. That should have been real. That should have been the trauma. But all of a sudden, he comes limping up, and it was like, give me a break. I was emotional when I saw the ending. Oh, no, recently, I mean, there's Toy Story 3, same. Now, recent films, I've definitely cried in. There's no doubt. There's no doubt I've cried, like, as an old, believe me. I'm a sensitive boy, chat. I cried. Toy Story 3, that hit me so hard because Pixar knew who their audience was, or definitely who their audience was kind of like winking at, I think, the entire time. Where Andy, he's going to college. That was the year I attended college. That was my freshman year of college. That was Andy's freshman year of college. I think I cried at the beginning of that movie, and I cried at the end. And it wasn't when they were all going to... The scene everyone says, oh, you cried when the toys all thought they were going to die. It's like, no, I knew they were all going to live. The scene that I cried at was when Andy was playing with the toys one last time and giving him that little bitch Bonnie. And I'm sorry, chat, but that little girl does not appreciate Woody. She does not appreciate Woody, and it drove me up the fucking ceiling how she disrespected Woody in that 4th movie. All right? She didn't deserve him. She didn't deserve him, chat. But before we knew that would happen, that Toy Story 3 ending where he plays the toys one last time, he says goodbye to Woody. Oh, chat. Oh, that hit me good. Some other ones. I mean, more recent. Endgame. I'm sorry. I cried at Endgame. I cried at Endgame, chat. I cried when Tony died. I was like, oh, God, I am Iron Man. He's all, hell yeah. Endgame was big for me. That was a big cry moment. Trying to think, is there anything... Titan AE is great. I like Titan AE. That's a super underrated film. Killed Fox Animation, but it's a great movie. I cried at Endgame. I'm trying to think what other recent movie have I cried? I'm trying to think. I know a thing that people have been saying recently they've been crying at the end of is Arcane, and I get that. I didn't cry, but I totally understand people get very emotional. Totally get that. Iron Giant. Oh yeah, I cried when I first saw that movie. Superman. Hell yeah, I cried during that. Yes. Cried at the movies The Invisible and Selfless. I think I saw either of those. I think I've seen either of those movies. Sean's Weird. I don't remember if I did. Maybe I did. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of some other like notable big movies where I cried. Alex, man, I'm guilty. Good to see you. Here's a fun thing. I started watching The Walking Dead with my boyfriend. Sorry, it's in a movie, but we just got to see set episode 1. Fucking told me. I think I know what you're talking about. Gotcha. Alex, pleasure to have you here. Hope you're doing well. We have a lot of new faces in here today, which is awesome. Green Mile. Green Mile's sad. They did a fucking poor coffee to the poor Michael Clark Duncan. He didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that. Call me Hazel. I don't cry. I don't have so. Oh, no. Calling me Hazel. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. She controls your fate. Good to see you. Cries. Well, we were talking about that. We had some people who were crying in Spider-Verse. I don't think I cried. I'm definitely emotional. But people obviously were usually emotionally affected by that film. 20 Days Later for you, Blind Justice. Didn't cry 20 Days Later, but I could see how they can do it. I'm trying to think. What other movies have I cried at? You know what? It wasn't even. I was just. I guess I was sad, but it was also it's an animated movie. I can't even say I was sad. I was just kind of just so overwhelmed by the beauty of it, and it made me emotional. And that is Princess Mononoke. That's my favorite Studio Ghibli film. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's probably my top 10. That movie that score and. It just the ending and how they figured out the situation. It just really emotionally hit me. So, and it wasn't even like, I can't even tell you what the moment was. I just started crying while watching the movie. I think it was near the end, but it was just something about it. There's everything. It's just the swelling of the motion and the journey and all the horror they went through. It's like, oh God, that was a big thing for me. That was, Grave for Fire. Oh, Jesus, yeah. That's a big one. Grave of the Fireflies. Oh my God, yeah, I cried watching that. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe. I don't even want to say what happens. With that film. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it because just you're be prepared for some sad shit. Return of the King makes me cry. But you can rest, Mr. Oh my God, yes, when he goes to the Undying Lands. Finally. You know what happens to me now? I cry in the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring now when I watch it, and it's when we first go to Hobbiton, the Shire, and we have Bilbo kind of narrating, and it's when Gandalf, or not, I guess it's not Bilbo narrating, no, maybe it is, but it's when Gandalf is riding through the Shire with Frodo, and you hear that, and I was like, oh yeah, I just get so emotional when they play that music. There's something about that. It hits me, I was like, oh, this fucking adventure. I love it. Plague Dogs. Oh, yeah, I remember Plague Dogs. Oh, I prefer the edited version of that movie, the one where they made it happy. The original version was not happy. That's a big one for me. Bat Boy, don't worry. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Did you say something else, Bat Boy? I'm sorry. I'm trying to read all these. The chat's going by so fast. Can't say there's ever been a movie that made me cry, but Batman Returns got me the first time. I rewatched as an adult and Carolyn's breakdown of me. Oh, really? I reviewed that recently, chat. Did you get emotional when the Penguin talked about blowing up kids as erogenous zones? That made me emotional. Oh my God, what's he gonna do? Watery grave. Oh Lord. I will show with the ending of Revenant the second time I watched it. Revenant? Yeah, it is. Yeah. When Debbie Reynolds died, I watched Charlotte's Web again. Oh, was she Charlotte in that movie? What's she voice? I don't remember. Your Name and Weathering with You was. I've seen Your Name. Yeah. I feel like I got shocked emotional. Bad Boys for Life. Yeah, Bad Boys for Life is fun. I like Bad Boys. I didn't get emotional, but I liked it a lot. I liked it. That's a good movie. Yeah. I never watched Silent Voice. Some good. I like it, chat. With a lot of good answers. 69 viewers. Nice. Hot. Very good. Since I haven't really cried movies or more recently shows, specific some or Korean race shows like Uncanny Encounter, One Class, and Allison. Oh, yeah. That's the other one people have been telling me to go and see. I'm trying to, yeah, I guess the most recent ones was Endgame. Endgame, I got emotional watching that. Oh, no, Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4, I got emotional, chat. When Woody said goodbye again. I got emotional during that whole time. That one, that was last. I cried at that one. I cried that part, and I also cried again when the little Gabby, who you're like, oh, she's the villain, but it's like, oh shit, I felt really bad for her. She was a super, sympathetic villain, where she's rejected by that girl, and it's like, ugh, who she had all her sights on, and then when she's finally adopted by that other girl, I cried. That one was that was a big one for me. Christina Hendricks, who voiced the character, she did a great job with that. Call me, I don't cry for fictional characters. I cry for them. I get sad. Nizeki, I cried at the end of Civil War when Thanos snapped and people turned to dust. I was scared I would be next. Oh no! Yeah, it was messed up. She'll be okay. I know, Buzz. No, Woody. Bonnie will be okay. Yeah, fuck Bonnie. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck about her. Man. Bonnie, I don't like the disrespect, chat. for Woody in that movie. That bothered me a lot. But no, it made sense for her because she doesn't care about. She doesn't care about cowboys. I get it. Yeah, I'm messing. When Spidey got dusted, fuck you, Roos. I don't feel so good, Mr. Dark. That was rough. Klaus. Oh, I cried. Klaus. That's a good one. I cried at the end of Klaus. I was like, oh, Jesus. You guys have not seen Klaus, which I've done a review for. Have I done? No, I haven't done a review for that. I've done a full-length audio and video commentary for Klaus on Patreon, chat. But that's on Netflix. I think didn't that come out the same year as Toy Story 4? I forget. I remember what year that came out. But that was a good fucking year for animation. That movie was that's amazing. That's one of the, if you want to think of like what's a modern day classic Christmas movie, Klaus is way up on that list, Chad. That is great. That is such a great film. Such a great film. Can I post what I said about Batman again? Sure, man, sure. Iron Giant, which we said, cried at the end of Infinity War when Thanos sucked more in the visions. Oh, that was good. I've done it. And she asked, but what to? I don't know if I cried, but it was emotional. I was emotional. See. It was nominated for an Oscar. I think, yeah, I guess Toy Story 4 won that year, which it deserved. I got it. What was so sad about Klaus? Klaus was a happy movie. It was the scene where I don't want to spoil it in case. I mean, all right. It's the scene where Klaus exits the movie. That's all I'll say. That got me really emotional during that. I was like, oh, God. When he leaves. Brightburn, I get emotional when Batman Begins when the alley scene happens, but I got more emotional when young Bruce Wayne says, it's my fault, Alfred. Made them leave the theater if I got scared. Ah, yes. The death of his parents. And then Michael Caine trying to comfort him. He's going, Master Wayne. It's going to go. The Moon Cocoon. We got so many raids tonight, Chad. Witness me, Moon Cocoon. Another great name, Chad. Another quality name, Moon Cocoon. Thank you so much for that raid. How you doing tonight? We're talking about things that made us cry. I got to move on to the rest of these questions in a bit. But I hope you're doing very well. Oh, no, spoiler. Now I know someone leaves the movie. Yes, that's all I'll say. Someone leaves the movie. That's a happy ending. It wasn't, it was happy eventually, but it was sad initially. Ava Blue, good to see you. Oh, that rhymed. Hope you're doing very well. Tiger GD, welcome to the stream. Look at all the quality people in here. What were you doing today, Moon Cocoon? What was on your docket? Tiberius Monk, Inside Out, Bing Bong. Oh, that was sad. Rain Felicia. Good to see you. Hello, Felicia. Welcome to the stream. An absolute pleasure to have you here. I liked Toy Story 4. It just made me cry. It made me cry so much. Bing Bong. That was emotional. I was like, oh, shit. Didn't see that coming. And so that was very emotional. Brother Bear gets me, to be honest. I saw Brother Bear, and I don't remember anything about it. Maybe I didn't see it. I don't know. It's been a while. I cried. New Red Dead Redemption 2 addiction. I understand, man. That made me cry. That game made me cry. I got emotional during Red Dead Redemption 2 during that scene with that character on that mountain. I just agree. Klaus robbed the Oscars because the Academy loves stroking Pixar's ego. What was the last time Pixar won? I guess it was 2019. No, he got to be with his beloved. I know that, but I didn't want him to be. I wanted to be with me to keep making toys. Oh, and it was beautiful and sad. That's what it was. It was like, yes, he's going to see her, and that's what made me emotionally affected. And I wanted toys. Oh, Lord. Cry the end of the indie game Celeste. I never finished Celeste. I did a couple of those. I was like, I don't get it. I think I got to go back to that someday. But nice chat picks, Troy. But I got to move on to the next question. Question 3 from Stefan. Question 3. Was being a critique streamer, I love you say critique, streamer always the goal for young Herman? What other paths did you consider? If not, I'll take you back. We're going to wind the clocks back right now. Young, dumb Christopher Herman wanted to be an archaeologist, but it was mostly because of the Indiana Jones movies. When he was really young, when he watched, he was like, I'm going to be Indy. I'm going to fight Nazis and have a bullwhip and have a hat and have a gun. And then realized later, I was like, oh, I don't get all those things if I'm an archaeologist. I still love history. That was my favorite subject in school, history and English, but especially history. I love learning about all that stuff. Ancient civilizations, everything. So that really appealed to me. It was like, oh, shit, I don't really get to go on adventures and stuff like properly. And apparently archaeologists don't make any fucking money. They don't make any fucking money. The only way you make money of archaeologists, like that's what you do on the side. And the other thing is like you are like a professor. I was like, well, okay. Other employee opportunity, blockbuster employee. I thought, well, archaeologist, that's not going to happen. But blockbuster employee, I love the movies. And I'll just work there. And I'll make recommendations, and that'll be great. But then, blockbuster went under. So that's not happening. That's fine. And then I thought journalist. I love writing. I love the news. I went to school to like in communication chat, and I was like, I had jobs that dealt with I had work for the school paper, work for public relation aspects of universities and things. Like, I'm going on the path. There we go. And then after a while, I'm just like, it's hard to get, hired by a major publication. You got to start small. They don't pay that much, and eventually started just doing PR work, admin work, interview setting. And then I just started doing side stuff. That was the Twitch stuff and the things I did for oneofus.net and Double Toasted. And eventually I made enough doing this that I can do this professionally. But that was the path. That was the path. Archaeologist, blockbuster employee, journalist, professional Twitch streamer. That's where I am now, chat. Boring. What do you mean boring? You want to be miserable, selfish? Goddamn right I did. I want him there for me. It's not always about him. Yeah, there's just nothing like you see Indiana Jones. Yeah, my oceanography teacher told me about how it really is. Yeah, I know it makes you like, no, that movie doesn't make movies. They don't show reality, chat, sadly. It belongs in a museum in the country of its origin. Indiana Jones does not say that. He says it belongs in a museum. He's like, country of origin? He appropriates the shit out of things all the time. Juicy Jones. I have a great nickname for it, but it didn't work out. Chat. I think I'm a screener. I'm actually writing one right now. That's awesome, dude. That is really cool. I mean, things that you can do that on the side too, while you have your other jobs and things, of course. But yeah. Creative writing's awesome. But and I still want to pursue that. Still working on some stuff on the side, chat. While doing this when I have the time. But again, very busy. But yeah, that was kind of my trajectory, if you will. From a very young man of archaeologist, blockbuster employee, to be like, okay, let me actually take this seriously. Journalism, public relations, communication, digital media. But then I eventually came into that. Right, fanfics and furry fics. That's a good start. I don't poo-poo on writing fan fiction. I'm not one of those guys. Like, that really helps you articulate your writing and become a better writer. I think that's definitely the case. The only thing that Timmy still need the nightmare. I know my dream, waking dreams and Dream War scripts. Someday, chat, someday. Baby GG, at first I wanted to be a cop or a firefighter, but then I wanted to be a dancer. Then I wanted to be a rapper, and then an athlete, and now I'm an actor. Fantastic. There you go. Good. Very good. That's a hell of a career path. Nice, chat. Everything changes as, time goes. We want to do some things, but we realize maybe we don't want to. There's something involved. We don't like the aspect of it, but we change. I'm very lucky, though. I am very lucky that I'm able to do something I do truly love I truly love something that I'm doing for a living. That's been an amazing experience so far. It's because of you guys, because of your donations and your biddies and subscriptions and all your kind words, chat. I'm able to do this. You make doing this so much fun. So cheers and salute to you, chat. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. You're shaking the pillars of heaven as we speak. An absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you. But now, my friends, we'll go ahead and move on to question 4. This is a truly girthy one. Name a film, TV show, and video game that takes you back to simpler times. That gets you just nostalgic and fuzzy and young, because I'm an old man. When I think of very young, nostalgic, fresh-faced Chris, I think Disney Renaissance movies, Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, in those bubble cassettes, like tapes, like the covers, like the VHSs, but in those bubble cases. I remember those, having those, watching those movies over and over and over and over and over again. That's a big thing for me with films. Coming home from school and watching, in terms of like a live action TV show, Boy Meets World, because you get home like around, I guess it was like 2, 3-ish. Boy Meets World's like on 5:30, watch that. And then later on the evening, watching Batman the Animated Series reruns. That was huge. And probably Superman. Those are the 2 big DC shows at the time. both the classic Batman and then the new Batman adventures that all in the late 90s. And then in terms of video game nostalgic fuzzy feelings, late 90s, GoldenEye, Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 64 on the N60, playing all that on the N64 chat in my friends' basements or my basements, all that. That was those nostalgic. Those were the days. That was the days of innocence before having to pay taxes, having to pay for your electricity, buying your own food, all that. Those ones. Disney Renaissance era films in bubble packages. Boy Meets World, Batman the Animated Series, GoldenEye, Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 64. Those are for me, chat. Those are for me. Fuzzy was juicy speaking gibberish me. Oh, right there. What do you mean speaking gibberish? I told you what they were. I was very specific. Oh. I still used to watch an old school Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. Ed and Eddie reminded us. I remember Ed and Eddie. Yeah, 99, right? That's when it started. Maybe it's early to mid-2000, early 2010s. Cartoon Network for me. Cube 89, Super Mario Bros. For me. Nice. Action Maniac. I've been watching Spider-Man 1994, and I forgot how good of a show. Yeah, the original series. That's on Disney Plus, too. Radioactive Spider Blood. Hell yeah, man. Did you know that he only throws one punch in that entire show? He punches Scorpion, and after that, it's just kicks or web stuff or backflips or him hugging people from behind. He only throws one punch in the entire series. It's fucking weird. Watch it again. You don't think of about that as a kid or even maybe now, but I was like, what? And it's true. I've done reviews. I've done reviews for about 25 episodes so far. Explore reviews, scene by scene breakdown. I was like, he doesn't throw a fucking punch. It's nuts. Oh. Prince, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, a lot of those 90s era superhero adaptations. GoldenEye, Smash Bros. And Final Fantasy 7 to 10 take me back to simpler times. Good picks. KC, watching both classic Batman and the new Batman Adventures are my jam for the shows back in the night, man. We're same jam. We were in the same jam. Crispy, also the Bizarre shows on ABC channel usually early in the morning. Oh, yeah, like those Canadian shows they would get. Yes. Tiberius, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. Oh, nice. Donkey Kong Country 2 makes me back to my childhood. Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past is definitely my favorite. That's definitely my favorite Legend of Zelda. Ooh. There we go. I would say Lion King, Batman Meets Series. So we're pretty much a lot of 90s babies in here. I love that, chat. For Pro, Boy Meets World, my go, Baxwell, dude. There we go. Very nice, chat. Do you think Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 controls hold up? Probably not. They probably don't. Not in any capacity. OG, no. I haven't played those games in a long time, but if I were, I'd be like, yep, these are dated. But that happens. That's what happens inevitably. They're always going to be classics, but there'll be dated aspects about classics. I mean, I know these names, but I don't know what is this bubble package you speak. Bubble package. Oh, you guys don't know? Oh, come on. Here, you guys remember these. Here, VHS Disney bubble package. Or bubble sleeves, if you will. Also, they were also the bubble sleeves. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Here you go. Here we go, Chad. Oh, yeah. I'll get this picture up right here. They released all their, original movies, but also the ones that were coming out at the time. This is some good shit, Chad. Here, let me go ahead and go over here. Boom. Boom. Where's my image? There it is. Boom. Okay. Let me see that good shit. Yeah, this is the good shit right there. Look at that. Look at that fat stack. You got those guys, the Jungle Book, got Lion King, the Aristocats. A little racist, but Mary Poppins, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Pocahontas. No. Oh, they got the Nightmare Before Christmas shit. Looks like you got Snow White there. And I can't tell the very end one. Something with W in it, but you got that one. That's the shit I'm talking about. Them bubble packages, chat. They thick. VHS, you can kill someone with these things. You can literally bludgeon someone. If someone were to break in your home, you can both watch them and then hit someone with their head until the police arrive. That's some good stuff. I had many of these. I had Toy Story on this. I had Toy Story. I had Lion King. I had Aladdin. I had Hercules. I think I had Beauty and the Beast. I think maybe The Little Mermaid. Shit, I'm trying to remember. I think maybe a couple others. Yeah, but I think I had a Pokemon. I think Pokemon, the movie, I had one of these too. Yeah, that's a lot of plastic. Man, a lot of dolphins are choking on that right now. A A lot of fucking wildlife is dying because of these. 20 years later, 25 years later, Chad. Yeah, Disney Bubble Packages, Diamond Edition, loved tonight. Yeah, man. Some good shit, Chad. That's the good stuff right there. That's some fine entertainment. But as I said, Chad, like a lot of that stuff I get very, very nostalgic for. And I believe that is Stefan's last question. Thank you as always for answering my questions. Also, I'm unable to get the video out of my head. Ooh, if it doesn't work, it's your Ton Juicy compilation. So do you guys know about my Juicy Ton compilation? Let me see if this works, Chad. Let me see if this does indeed work. We'll get this. Don't worry, we'll get this working. We'll play it right here, Chad. Let's see what can be done. We'll see what can be done. Pure. Yeah, you guys know what it is. You know what it is. I see it in the public library. That's right. See, okay, you know what it is, Nick Hazel. Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, wait, does it work? Oh, no, I think it's just the fan page. Let's see. Is it here? No. Oh, it doesn't work, chap. Oh, well. But it's the juicy accomplishment go, and all that. It's so funny. God damn it. Maybe I can find it. Hold on. Give me a second, chat. I will look for it. I will look for it right now. Can someone link it to me in the chat? Maybe someone links it. If someone could find it, that would be really, really cool. If your little penis permit doesn't have a penis in the background, that's not that. That's true. Mine had the penis. Mine had the penis, chat. It was there. Wait, another raid witness! Witness me! Julian, thank you so much for the raid. Everybody on the dance floor. Raid. Mr. Hummendinger, thank you so much for that very comment. What are you doing today, good sir? We playing more of the Rouse Republic?
Mr. Grinch, you really are a heel.
Who is this new person? Who's my new follower and my new Grinch? ACP Network. Thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing very well today. Welcome. That's a non-dog pooping raid. Indeed. We've had like 5 or 6 raids today, Chad. That's amazing. Look at all the incredible support tonight. Thank you. Celebration. What are you doing today, man? Was it more of the Rise Republic, or are you checking out the Halos, or what's been on your docket today? Trying to find the Pure compilation. I don't know if we can find it, but if anyone manages to find it, Chad, send it my way. I'll happily play it. Ah, the Death Loop. Nice, man. Oh, that'd be good. I'm taking a break from that right now. I did about 3 days because I'm currently playing the Halo Infinite campaign. But we definitely have to invade each other's worlds. I've defeated a couple Julianas. I've been killed by a couple Julianas. I've also played Juliana, and I've killed a shit ton of cults. They didn't stand a chance against me. I've killed more cults than died as Juliana, which has been awesome. So that's been super, super cool. The Bullet Boy was going deep in Deathloop. Very nice. Want the compilation of you mixing my name with Nyber? I don't know. That's so many videos. That's like an hour long. That's an hour long of me confusing you. Oh, by the way, let's send some well wishes, chat. Can we send some Mr. Evan Yates or Mr. Evan Hypes to Nia Brownie? She was one of the people who was in that tornado that was happening in her specific area. I won't say where specifically, but like, that one part of the country, a lot of people were affected by it. She's fine. She's safe and everything. I was just texting her via the Instagram earlier last night because we were playing some Jackbox, and then I think her internet went out, her power went out, but her power is back. Her power is back on, and I don't know if her internet's back on yet. But but she is safe. She is safe. Divine Miss Klein, good to see you. Always a pleasure having you here. Hope you're doing very well. Welcome. Just doing class in Glasgow. So let's go ahead and give. Almost said, call me Hazel. Things never change. Let's give Nia Brownie some Mr. Revan Yates, Mr. Revan Hypes. She deserves a chat. Hope she's doing well. Hope she's doing okay right now. I don't want mine not hurting. No, I know. I was like, I was a little concerned last night. But she's fine. She's doing okay. I mean, it sucks not having internet and probably various power issues, believe me. That is not fun. But I hope she is still doing well. I didn't say it. Okay, for old time's sake. Oh, wrong one. Wrong screen. Call me Hazel, Nia Brownie. I take responsibility. Here we go. Chris, color me brownie. It happens sometimes. I can't help it. I can't help it. That was for Naya. Who couldn't join us tonight, Chad. Oh, but now we can move on. No, too late. What do you mean, no, too late? I did it. I did my job. If we find the pure compilation, let me know, Chad. If anyone can find it for me, we'll definitely watch it. We'll continue on with the next questions right here, right now, chat. We have Vanisphere's question. Vanispheres, thank you so much for being a Juicy Gangster subscriber. Chat, please do check out Vanisphere streams. Oh, by the way, check out Mr. Humanator streams too. Julian Humanator, chat, playing the Deathloop. So I'm taking a break from Deathloop. So you want more Deathloop shenanigans, Julian's your guy right now for that good stuff. Check that stuff out. But now we'll move on to Vanisphere's questions. For this week's questions, he does a lot of theme stuff. We're no longer talking about Final Fantasy XIV. No, that time is past. We're talking about the award-winning Final Fantasy XIV. Some light spoilers for Ed Walker if anyone is planning on playing. All right, light spoilers, chat. Light spoilers. Movie question. Final Fantasy XIV has given us some absolutely iconic villains. One of them is the villain from Shadowbringers named Emmett Selch. We've discussed him previously as a villain who has noble intentions, but is willing to hurt a lot of people to get his way. In Endwalker, we're learning more about Emmett, and it's now fair to say that he is a less noble villain and more of a fallen hero. In films, you often see a redeemed villain like Vader. Darth Vader, that is. But I think watching a hero fall is far more interesting. Who is your favorite movie villain that was once the hero? I think the one that my mind kind of always goes to. And I don't know if I would describe him as a hero, but he definitely has super good intentions, and he doesn't want to be associated with his family who are dealing in villainous things. Crime, if you will. And that's Al Pacino's Michael Corleone, the Godfather. We're introduced to Michael. He is very much the outsider of his family. He is a veteran of World War II. His family, the Corleones, are the mob, involved in organized crime. And, even though he's like kind of the chosen son to take over, he wants nothing to do with it. He wants nothing to do with it. I want to lead. I want control of my own life. I don't want to do what my father wants or my brothers want. This is who I am. But events transpire where he finds himself involved in all this and where he has to take care of his father and family because everyone's at risk. And he takes on the responsibility and, as a leader and as eventually the leader of the Don of the Corleone crime family, even though he originally started out as an individual who wanted nothing to do with that, who just met this girl and he falls in love with her and Kate, but because of all these things that happened to him and what's at risk, he becomes what he never intended to be. And we see that true fall. I mean, we see already the hints of it, obviously, at the end of the film when he slaughters all of the enemies of his family, the perceived enemies of his family. And then by 2, he loses everything. He wanted to preserve his family, but the only family he really preserved was his criminal organization. He loses everything else. The relationship with his wife is ruined. His relationship with his children, for the most part, is ruined. And he's truly, truly alone. And so, yeah, Michael Corleone, to me, is definitely the best example of a hero that fell so hard until he ends up with he has everything, but he also has nothing. Mr. Everything with 10 B's says Chronicle Counts. Chronicle Counts is an answer, with Dane DeHaan's character. These kids who get these superpowers, and he's this troubled kid, and it starts out really amazing, but eventually, because of his circumstances and an abusive family and his abusive father, and his mother, who I think was a substance abuse problem. And it's all this is just thrusted on top of him, and eventually he cracks, he loses it, and he starts using his powers almost like I guess you can describe it as a school shooter in a way, where he fucking flips, and he's in a constant rage. So yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Killed his brother in cold-blooded. Killed Fredo. I was passed over. I'm smart, not dumb like everyone says. I know things. I'm smart. Honestly, Fredo, you have to take care of Fredo no matter what. It's like, I know your family, Fredo, but Jesus Christ, that needed to be nip in the bud. Nip it in the bud, chat. Nip that shit in the bud. Remember this Wanda? Yeah. She I think she's a villain now. I think so. She took over a fucking town. She manipulated. Didn't say sorry. Did not say sorry. So I would say yes. Yeah, definitely Wanda. Most recently. You particularly like movie villains. I mean, you can even say, I know I don't want to put too much out there, but Jinx in Arcane, I think is even though she was this little girl and she had the best intentions possible, but she does something and it's really bad. And it leads to certain people rejecting her and then being embraced by someone who probably shouldn't be taking care of her, but he loves her. But she becomes crazy. And so I think most recently a fallen figure like that, and Jinx, Powder, in Arcane is a great example. Another one, and Batman Under the Red Hood, the animated film came out a few years ago. It was one of my favorite Batman animated movies, one of my favorite DC animated films. I think it's my second one behind Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. But Jason Todd, Red Hood, where he was the original Robin, but because of all this trauma, he was brought back, and there's all this anger and trauma he has towards Batman, Bruce Wayne, and the various villains. He takes in his own hands to become a murderous vigilante, and Bruce wants to help him, but Jason rejects him, but even though he loves Bruce, and that movie does, I think it's so well. So well. Better than the original comic run, better than the original graphic novel. It cuts out the unnecessary fat chat. That's a good one for me. But I have to say, Michael Corleone is, for me, the ultimate one for that. Bad Boy Army Cunningham, the awkward, shy, nerdy protagonist of Christine, who gradually, that's a good one, into an abusive monster person. That's good. That's a really good one. Christine's one of those super underrated John Carpenter films. I like that one, even though I think it did well commercially. That's a good film. I like that movie a lot. I haven't only seen it like maybe once or twice, but I remember like this is entertaining. I like that. Doing all the quotes. Yeah. Like when with Kate. An abortion. It was an abortion, Michael. I never bring another one of the son of yours into this world, and he fucking freaks out. Slaps her and shit. Yeah. Great scene, chat. Danny from Game of Thrones. That's another good one. I felt that was a little rushed. But I think it was inevitably going in that direction. But yeah. He slaps that shit out. Yeah, he does. You don't take my kids. You won't take my children. That's what he says. Yeah, so he had a big fucking fall. I mean, he was already falling hard, Chad, but I was like, ooh, Jesus Christ, you're hitting shit on the way down, Michael. Stop hitting shit on the way down. But yeah, Michael Corleone for me. That's a big one for me. Al Pacino screaming about it, he can. He's very loud in that scene. That was before he sounded like this. Hoo-ah! Before he was screaming all of his dialogue. It's like when he used to yell. Fucking Al Pacino wasn't always yelling all the time, Chad. Now we expect that. Back in the day, he was very quiet. His whole performance just... The way he performs as an actor just changes. Man, I'm so done with Titans not getting explorers, but they did it again. Starting out the season strong. They fucking the new series. Yeah, I heard that. Or people really hate Scarecrow on that show most recently. And look, they hit. Yeah, I wonder if it was one of those situations where they actually did hit each other in that scene. It reminds me of, have you guys ever seen, I've talked about this before, Kramer v. Kramer, which is a really great drama with Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep, and just about a divorcing couple. And apparently Meryl Streep got super fucking pissed at Dustin Hoffman because there's a one point in the movie where he slaps her. That was a real slap, and she didn't expect it. And she got really mad. Which I get it. You would get fucking mad too if someone just slapped you. It's not nothing to do with it. We're just talking about slapping people in movies. But there's another improvised slap moment. So in the original Alien, in the director's cut, it's not in the theatrical version, but in the director's cut, it's when John Hurt's character of Lieutenant Kane has the facehugger on him, and you have Captain Dallas and Ash. They're doing like an examination of him, and you have the other characters up there right now. You have I think it's is it Lambert? Or no, I think it's like Ripley. It's Parker. And I think Brett is there. And I think Lambert walks up to Ripley, and she just fucking slaps her. And that was a real slap. And I think Ridley Scott told the actress, I forget the actress who plays Cartwright, who plays Lambert, just go up there and slap Sigourney Weaver. You can see in the director's cut version. And apparently she hit her so hard that it made Sigourney Weaver cry. And I was like, oh, man, that was mean. They added the same. They took out the theatrical because they thought it was too mean. But yeah, that was a big one for me. I never saw Brooklyn's Finest. I'm unfamiliar with that movie at all. At this point, Keith Gordon didn't have more of a career after Christine. He did well. He did it well, Chad. But moving on from that, we'll go ahead and go to a TV question from Vanny Chat. Endwalker has been an absolutely amazing experience so far, I will say, when compared to the previous expansion, Shadowbringers. This is much more story-focused installment and could even be called a slow burn, with long periods of story cutscenes with high-intensity moments sprinkled through. I like that. I don't mind a slow burn, chat. I consider shows like Luke Cage to be similar in approach. Interesting choice. The first season, at least, with Cottonmouth, chat. What was your favorite slow burn show? You know, I struggle thinking about this because thinking like, I mean, what would you consider like a slow burn? Is Sopranos a slow burn? Is Breaking Bad technically a slow burn? And I don't know, but I thought of a show recently that people were saying, well, that's a little too slow for me. But at the same time, I liked how it was building up because they're spending so much time on characters and the mystery and making it really creepy and really ominous. And I would say like Midnight Mass, which came out this year, is my favorite slow burn show, at least for like, you know, recently, in recent memory. And I love that. I don't want to say too much about it, but if you like Stephen King, if you like the work of Mike Flanagan, who has done things like, well, he's done Stephen King stuff. He's done like, you know, Haunting on Hill House and Hush, Dr. Sleep. Then this is more of that. This is him just like, I'm going to indulge in everything that defines me as a filmmaker. So you get a lot of commentary on addiction and faith and monologues, a shit ton of monologues, chat. You got all them monologues in there. I love me a monologue. I don't mind it. If it's a good monologue, I don't care. Some people don't like that. Famously, Martin Thomas of Double Toasted, we did a review of Midnight Mass, and we were on polar opposites, where I loved all the monologue in the show. He did not like it. So that was made for an interesting topic. But yeah, most recently, definitely Midnight Mass. Succession, which I've not seen, but I've heard great things about. Game of Thrones is slow. I guess it is. Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, they build up to a lot of stuff. I thought I wasn't going to like it all that much, but it was really good. Midnight Mass? 6 feet under. That's a good example. That's a good one. Kingdom of the South Korea show. South Korean show is a bit of a slow burn at first, but it's great. The zombie one. My Mass, for sure. I've been loving it. So far, I'm loving it on the third episode. It's very atmospheric and commentary and faith. I like that, man. Yeah. Are heavy in the show, yeah. And it's the whole thing. The big commentary of the show is faith and religious dogma and addiction. I don't even want to say too much about it for people there. If you're just watching right now, Casey, I don't even want to say too much, but it's really good. It's really good. I loved it. Devin, Midnight Mass, really great. Agreed. One of my favorite things this year. Bat Boy Yu Yu Hakusho, I would say, counts because they're where the series starts. It's completely different. That's what I think. You know, I'm glad you bring that up because I've started reviewing it because Glee was very generous enough to submit $100. So also now, chat, if you donate $100, I'll review a season of an animated show, anime, whatever. Episodes were 22, 25, 30 minutes, like around there, however many episodes, like no more than 30. I'll do that, chat. And I've been doing that with Yu Yu Hakusho, and I had some familiarity, not a lot, but I remember like way back in the day watching maybe like reruns on Cartoon Network and only like little bits and pieces. And I'm like, this show does not look like the show I watched all those years ago when there was a tournament going on. They were fighting fucking demons. And this one, it's just like, we're just dealing with ghosts and stuff and trying to get, you know, Yusuke back into his body. What's going to happen next episode? And I was like, okay, this definitely changes, which is cool. That makes it fun. It's like, in that case, like, oh, great. It's going to go to going to go different places. And not just going to be the same fucking thing every single season, which makes it exciting. It was Toonami. That's what it was. Yeah, Toonami, late night Cartoon Network. Very nice. But Succession is a slow burn. People saying Ozark. You know what? I watched a couple episodes of Ozark. I remember I was watching with my girlfriend at the time, my ex, and we both just kind of like, we fell off it. We didn't care for it. So I guess it was very much a slow burn. Mammon a slow burn? I suppose so. That was another one I fell off of. I was like, I liked it. I liked some of it, but I was just, eventually I just stopped watching it. I was like, all right. Chris, do that voice again. Which voice? Which one? I do so many voices. The Boys. Yeah, I don't think that's interesting. I think it's what defines a slow burn. I don't know. Battlestar Galactica. Oh yeah, that's a slow burn. I agree with that, Tiberius Monk. Yeah, Battlestar Galactica slow burn. I agree. Very cool. Spirit Tournament, I love you, Ashbel, back then. I loved everything up the Spirit Tournament bits of the way they deal with fighting those demons and warriors in the Spirit Realm. Yeah, see, we haven't gotten that part yet. Crazy. They all get super fucking powers. They'll like run around like DBZ characters. It'll be interesting. If we ever get to that, chat. I imagine we will. But yeah, mine most recently, Chad, that definitely I can think of at the top of my head is Midnight Mass. I think I was definitely just a slow burn. I was not bothered by that it took its time to build all these characters to really provide them a lot of depth. And when something happens to them, you actually care. I was like, they nailed it. I thought they did a great job. I think it was a great ending. I mean, it fucking is just like, Jesus. But it's like, it's a good ending. Juicy will ignore me for the rest of the night. I didn't ignore you, Tom. I'm not ignoring you, Cut Me Hazel. Are you watching Black Clover, Juicy? I am not. I don't even, I don't know what that is. To be honest, I don't like slow burn shows because it's too slow. I get that. I'm not ignoring no monologues. What do you mean? I love monologues, Call Me Hazel. Call Me Hazel, the monologues are so good. Did you watch Midnight Mass? Did you watch those monologues? I would show you a scene. Oh, Joss Whedon's TV stuff is a bit of a slow burn. You know what's funny? I've only of his TV shows. Like I tried to watch Buffy. I think I watched more Angel than Buffy back in the day. I just fell off of those shows. But Firefly, I was like, I'm here for this. That's the one that got canceled. That's the one that gets fucking canceled. And that was not a slow burn. That was awesome. Cat's hugs back. Yay, hugs. Everyone's hugging each other. That's great, chat. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm gonna get hate, but I'm not a fan of the war. I think that's a slow burn show too. I think that's slow. Mr. Robot, that's another good one. Takes his time. True Detective. Oh, Koki, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. That's a slow burn. First season is slow, but man, it's great. That's great. Second season, not so much. Did I even watch the third season? I don't even remember. I definitely watched the first two. Now, shall move on to a game question from Annie. There's a moment in Endwalker that absolutely shocked and even terrified me. Without going into too many spoilers, two of the Endwalker's villains do something so absolutely unheard of to our hero that my jaw hit the goddamn floor. After said event, we're forced to play as a severely underpowered version of ourselves, which further enhanced the suspense. What will happen next? Is there a moment in a game that shook your very soul and left you speechless? Yeah. I've already mentioned it before. Would you say, Juicy, I was busy ignoring you? Why are you being mean? Why are you being a bully? Oh, man, big time bullies in the chat now, chat. Oh, a couple moments, big game moments. I mentioned some of them earlier in a different question, but BioShock's, would you kindly? It's like, whoa, like this thing that you hear from this guy who's been with you the entire time. Atlas, I'm with you, boyo. He's your guide to this fucking nightmare of an underwater world. And he says this thing, you don't even pay attention to it. Like, would you kindly? He's like, oh, it's just like, he's just being, hey, would you kindly do this for me? Would you kindly do that? Would you please do this? Like, oh, okay. Yeah, but he says, would you kindly? And you pay no mind to it at all until eventually you confront Andrew Ryan. And when you're about to, go in there and do your thing, he says, stop, would you kindly? And you stop. And it's like, what? And he does this whole thing, run over there, would you kindly? And it's like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, man, yeah. And all this reveals like, would you kindly beat my head in with this golf club? This huge moment. And it's one of the greatest twists in all video games, Chad. That one I was like, wow. I was so surprised. Didn't know about it, Chad, when I was first playing. I was already loving the game. Like, oh, this world's so cool. These characters are so cool. I love the power sets and things and the plasmids. It's so well thought out, this world. But that moment that was, wow. Yeah, and the BioShock series hasn't been able to capture that again. They've tried to do that a couple of times since then, in 2 and Infinite, but haven't really done it yet. They haven't really captured that moment. That was brilliant to me. A couple other moments. Mass Effect 2. The game opens with the Normandy being destroyed. The ship that you spend all your time on, with all your friends, all your comrades, all your crew, and you're attacked by this alien race called the Collectors, who just love collecting shit, and they blow your ship away. They tear it apart. You're seeing people get sucked out the goddamn ship. There's holes everywhere, making sure your love interest gets her ass or his ass in that escape pod. Move, move, move. You gotta save Seth Green, but his ass is all broken up and stuff. You put him in escape pod, and you get shot out, and then your oxygen gets ripped out, and you die. You suffocate. You slowly suffocate in space and die. And that's like Mass Effect 2. It's like, oh, that was huge. That was a huge moment for me. It was the destruction of the Normandy. And another great twist in games. I guess I consider it to be the one where it's the first twist in games that I remember being very surprised by. And that's in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. When you've gone through this entire game, you play this character, you've met all these people, you're trying to find this thing called the Starforge, which is this weapon that's being used by the Sith, and you're getting these visions of this character named Darth Revan, who was in charge of all this, of the Starforge, of this massive, huge Sith fleet, and his apprentice Malik betrayed him, and he died. And you're playing throughout this entire game, get all these force powers, you become a Jedi, yada, 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 until you're finally confronted by Malik, and he says, oh, how you doing, Revan? And you're like, what? And he's like, yeah, you're Darth Revan, dummy. The Jedi betrayed you. They tore apart your name and tore apart your mind, put it back in you, and you've been doing their bidding. You are the villain. You were the villain the whole time. You're like, oh, my God, my identity is a lie. And that was a huge, huge reveal for me. I was like, holy fuck. fucking shit. And I've always had such affection for that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm so excited to experience that, even though I know it's going to come. I know it's happening, chat. KOTOR remake. We're going to get that. You guys are going to experience it. I'm so happy that some people will hopefully be able to experience that reveal and not know what's going on. I think that'll be huge. I think that'll be huge for so many people. They get to be me as a wait, oh baby, playing that game. Me pretending you understand. He's like, yeah, right, Clemeasel? Yeah, it wasn't mean to me. That one part, oh yeah, of course, Aerith. Yeah, Aerith, of course. Devin, my favorite part of me too. Final mission goes good or bad based. Oh, I love that. My heart. I've never been more, I think, nervous playing a video game than Mass Effect 2, where I could literally feel my heart beating in my chest. It's like, holy shit! Like, did I do it? Did everyone survive? And thankfully, everyone survived. I've never lost a single fucking crew member playing Mass Effect 2. They always lived. They've always lived. I could not imagine losing crewmates in that game. I'd be like, oh, my poor heart. But yeah, I was so fucking nervous. I'm making the right decisions. I'm doing the right thing, and I did. And I've always adhered to that. Never lost a single squad mate, Chen, ME2. Very proud about that. Very proud about that. Yep. Oh, Laura's shocked when I play Master 2, and I tried to be nice to Jack. When I met her, she said, you sound like a pussy. And she said the P word. She said the P word. Yes. Yes, indeed. I've had a lot of the big video game twists. Oh, Bep, I'm sorry. When that got me was I create time. If I know who she is, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't want to say who it is, even though a game is over 25 years old, or nearly 25 years old at this point. Yes. That's pretty cool. That's cool reveal. I was like, oh shit, look at that. They're doing something new. They're doing something new with this character. I love that. I love that reveal. That was a good reveal. Very nice. It's Zelda. And now, chat, we're going to move on. But anyone else had like a big twist or like holy fucking shit moment in a video game that really hit you hard? That you just couldn't believe it? Again, Bioshock, Mass Effect 2, KOTOR for me. Oh. Juicy would cry over made up people rather than real people. I've cried over real people and stuffs. I've done that before. You know what? I've seen a couple episodes of Us, but I've never finished it. Never finished it. I heard it's really fucked up. It's a show about prison. Should be, right? Should be, chat. Yeah. Man, but there's some great twists in video games. There's some other things too. Spec Ops: The Line has some pretty good twists in that. That's a really neat game. Oh God, I'm trying to think of some other ones. I mean, there's a bit of a reveal in God of War, the new God of War game. It's like, this person's that person. I don't know how that's gonna be. And the last one was great. Miss Harmony, yeah, that was a good one. When Joel loses it, becomes a murderer. I mean, he was already a murderer, but like a super duper murderer. Yeah. That was a good one. I can also say Kingdom Hearts, when Sora stabs himself with the key. But damn! Oh, that would hurt, too. That thing's not pointy. You got to really work that thing inside of you. Yishka. Wooshka. There ain't before the end, the credits. So, oh, nice, man. Yep. Okay. Clemeasel, oh, really? When was the last time you cried at an actual person? I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe when my grandma died, Color Me Hazel. Maybe one of those. Now you feel bad, I bet. I bet you feel super bad. You became a super duper murderer. That's the official term, I think. That's when he goes super duper murderer mode. And a Bioshock Infinite was kind of shocking. I like the reveal of who Elizabeth was related to my character. I like that reveal. Joe killed family. When he last at the end, I could believe. Oh, that was great. Yeah, when he's like, it was this way. And she's like, she even gives an opportunity, like, tell me the truth here. She even knows, like, this did not make any fucking sense. And that's why I totally, listen, I know it's controversial, but that's why I was like, when what happens to Joel in Last of Us Part 2 happens, I know a lot of people were mad about that. I was like, yeah, he kind of brought on himself. So I was like, oh, okay. You know. Your fictional guy? No, my real one. God damn it. Yeah, I was not, I want to open up an old wound, chap, but that did not bother me. That did not bother me, Jeff. That's just me at all. I was like, yep, this is just the fucking chickens have come home to roost. And I can't start a Last of Us 2 talk. I don't want to bring that. I don't want to have the chat break out in a argument. Move on to the next question. Gonna start alternating between content creator question focusing on your art process and Revan questions focusing on you as a person. Just something fun to spice these theme questions up. Revan question. Obviously, I'm very attached to Final Fantasy XIV and the character I created, the Red Mage himself, Vanisphere's Krieger. I've connected with Vanny so much thanks to all his friends I've made playing it, some of who are fellow revenants, as well as the story, the music, and the basically everything else. Is there a character in fiction, movies, games, books that you've connected with on such a deep personal level like I have with Vanny? I think there's a couple. I think Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings I've really connected with, like the books especially. Just because he's that character who seems not that special. He lives this very quiet life, and he seems happy with himself, but there's that part of him that yearns for something else, that yearns for an adventure, greatness, but he's too self-conscious to make the first step. And needs a little nudge out the door, as Gandalf says. And throughout the first part of that book, the first third of that book, you as the reader and other characters like, why is this guy with us? Why is this guy with us? He doesn't know what he's doing. And eventually he grows in the role of being a hero. Definitely after he first confronts Gollum. I think that's when he really does. That was like his first truly big. Or not even with the trolls. When he talks to the trolls, he gets them out of the jam, literally the jam with the trolls. But then after Gollum, I feel like, and then going on, he becomes kind of like the one people go to for like, what are we supposed to do now, Bilbo? You know, he very much lives up to his profession as a burglar, if you will, as he's hired on. That's what he's hired on for. And, you know, he becomes the hero of that novel. And it's finding the courage he never thought he had and to do these amazing things despite being a hobbit, despite being a halfling, this seemingly innocent, you know, individual who couldn't possibly trick a dragon or talk down to a king, or barter a peace between elves and men and dwarves. But he does all that, and I really like that about his character. And he can go back home and he can talk about his adventures, and he's still humble. Like he wasn't, unlike all the dwarves and the men and the elves in that book. They were all obsessed with the treasure and and glory, but he wasn't. He just wanted everyone to have peace. He wanted to save as many lives as possible at the end of that book. And he did things in order to ensure that. And I was like, I mean, he did take the ring. He did get his little lust there, but we didn't even know what the ring was at that time. Nor did Tolkien even at that point. But that I think was what really worked for me. Is like finding the spark in you to make you do those things that you want to do, but you feel unsure of. And I think Bilbo is a great example of a character like that. And so I've always loved Bilbo Baggins, only 3 feet tall. He's the greatest hobbit of them all, chat, as you know. And then Samwise Gamgee's the second best, and then Frodo. Clip Maze, I find Juicy's Widow's Peak very interesting. You don't see those out there. Oh, I know, it's true. Look at that, chat. Look at that. My hair is so long. I mean, literally, it's like this. I got a hell of a Widow's Peak. It's true, chat. It's going to just become more pronounced as I get older now. So much forehead. Lisa Hardhands, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Just woke up. Well, it's good to have you here. We're just doing Class in a Glass, Cash for you, with Sass, answering people's questions. It's been a good time. It's been a good discussion. It's been very, very nice. Just talked about Bilbo Baggins, and there's other ones like, Jack Burton's. Like, if I ever thought I would be in an action movie or a sci-fi action film, I'd be like completely fucking lost. I'd be like, what the hell's happening? What's going on? Who are you? What's that? Don't tell me. And I would just need to somehow survive. I would survive through dumb luck. I feel like that's what would happen with me. And so I relate a lot to Jack Burton, because I think he's a lot of us, what a lot of people would act like if they're caught in that. It's like, no, I'll be the badass. I'll be the fucking Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, John McClane. No, you wouldn't. You'd be lucky if you were Kurt Russell's Jack Burton. That's what it is. And another one, too, that I really identify, the character I really respect and, who's smart and savvy, but also vulnerable and I mean, does everything they possibly can to get out of a situation. I really like Ellen Ripley, especially in the first Alien movie, where she's a blue-collar trucker. That's what she is. She's just doing her job, making sure the people that they're all taken care of, that we all get home, we all get fucking paid, and they run across this thing that they're thoroughly unprepared for, but she fucking steps up to the occasion when certain people can't, or they're dead, and she takes control, she takes command, but she's still struggling the entire time, and it feels really real and realistic and down and gritty, and I identify with that. And when she's the last one, she's fucking scared out of her goddamn mind, as we all would be in a scenario like that. So I've always really liked that survivor. That survivor is like, it's eventually, you don't think you can, but you're pushed to the fucking limit, you will do the things that she did, and it's hard, even if it's hard. I like that. Juicy Lines, Smoulier, if I'm good, the 5 counts, folks. I saw that today. I saw that, Zodi. Yeah. Juicy smoothie. He besmirches the name Juicy, chat. He besmirches it. Call me, it's interesting because the middle part isn't going anywhere, but the sides are going up. It's true. It's true. They are. Thank you for observing, calling me Hazel. Yeah, I can do this. I can do that. How about that? Is that a little bit better? I got my Leon S. Kennedy look right now. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. And now, Chad, we'll move on to Vanny's. I think it's Vanny's, I think we got 2 more questions from Vanny. Music question. While waiting in the queue for hours on end, I've heard the Final Fantasy prelude playing in the background. You think that after listening to the same tune for hours on end, I would be sick of it. But it still slaps. What song can you put on repeat for hours on end? I'm not going to sick of it. Arcane. Most recently, definitely the Arc. I am not balding. God damn it, I'm not balding. No, I've always had a widow's peak. That's just kind of been my hair. I'm not balding. I'm fine. It's totally fine. If I did get bald, I'd shave it. My hair's always been pretty. Like, I have a lot of hair. I have like luscious hair, Chet. Oh, look at the emo kid that got rejected by his Christian high school. I mean, yes, that's technically true. Oh, my Lord. I'm getting bullied major in the chat, my Lord. But no, most recently in terms of a score I've not gotten sick of, but it's the soundtrack score to Arcane. That shit is so good. Imagine Dragons is a great band. I don't care what everyone fucking says. I like it. I like those songs too. It's been fun. It's been fun. I've been listening to that when I've been editing or working on artwork or title cards and stuff. It's been really great. So definitely Arcane, chat. I mean, Misfit Toys is a great. So there's so many good ones. There's the one with Guns for Hire. It's like, or What Could Have Been. That with Sting. Amazing. What about you guys? Is there a particular song you can listen all the time and not get sick with it? I've always got something to be ashamed of. I'm not balding. It's fine. I've always looked this way. I've always had widow's peak. It's from my father. Genetic. There you go. I'm just growing more. I'm going to put my hair in front. See? I'm not balding. Yeah, so you never heard but never get sick of it. You can just listen to like any point. You're like, you're good. You can do all that. Yeah. Monster You Create is perfect. Yes, it is. Oh, it's so amazing. Echo's theme. Oh, is that Echo's theme? Nice. Yeah. All the music in that show is great. I know a lot of people just love to hate on Imagine Dragon because they're Imagine Dragon, but I think they're good, chat. Them cowlicks, I know. Every song by Limp Bizkit from Mr. Hummendinger. Dynasties and dystopias. Remember, no matter what anybody says about the hair on your head, Chris, you always have the beautiful beard. That's true. I still got this. Kiss from a rose for me. Nice. Stop doing my hairdo. What do you mean? Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you do that thing. Any soundtrack by Yoko and Shimura from Super Mario RPG to Kingdom Hearts, Xenoblade Chronicles. Oh, it was great video game music. Easy bald in his sides too. Man, I'm getting bullied. Chris looks like Riggs from Lethal Weapon. No, I do. Oh no, it's funny. You're right. I do look like Riggs from the TV show, but not from the movie. Fuck. You're absolutely right. I have his hair. I realized and I was like, oh my God, I look like him. I did the wrong Riggs. I did the wrong Martin Riggs, Jeff. Cats, I love Curses by the Crane Wives and Chasing Rainbows, an old standard that was featured. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, I love all that music and Hazbin Hotel and Hell of the Boss, which we talked about recently. That was on one of our Discord discourses, chat. That was awesome. So goddamn good. Get Jinx is a great track made before. Oh, really? Interesting. Very cool. Wait, which X-Men are we talking about? Oh, X-Men? Oh, that was the original 90s theme. Ba, ba, ba. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Ba-na-na-na-na. Bum, ba-na. All that shit. Millie's a catchy one. Oh, there's so... Oh, Millie. Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, great song. I'm going to actually show that because I can actually show those videos. I think that's fine. They don't mind Hell of a Boss. If you guys have not seen Hell of a Boss, chat, check it out. Vizzy Pop and her crew do such an amazing job, chat. Oh, Millie. We'll do that one. Juicy, can you fit all 5 fingers on your forehead? I don't know. I don't know. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean all 5? What does that mean? Like this? Did I do it? Yes? I got a big head. I know that. I am aware. All right, let me go ahead and get this video up here. I got a big old noggin, chat. I'm aware of that. All right, let's play this song. This cast we just mentioned. So good. Guys, if you have not seen Has-Been Hotel, A Hell of a Boss, do yourself a favor and check that shit out. Check that shit out, chat. It's so good. The animation is so well put together. It is. That was one of the earlier ones, too. I think it was, wasn't that like from the pilot, I think? Yeah. Yeah, I recommend it, chat. They just released episode 7, part 1, I guess, a couple of weeks, about a month ago. It was amazing. It's one of my favorite songs in it, chat. We got to watch it. Now look what you did.
This song is
look what you did.
Beautiful.
Oh, okay. Well, this will be the last one. I got to move on to the other question. I have like 2 more questions left. I got 2 more questions yet left. So this is good. Maybe I could show these. This is fine. Busy Pop doesn't mind when people watch her stuff on the platform. Let's go ahead. It is super goddamn adorable. If you guys have not, so people are asking me what's this. This is a series called Hell of a Boss. It is, I guess it's a spinoff technically of Has-Been Hotel, which is created by this I forget the Vizzy Pop. Cassie, what's her full name? I always forget her full name, but it is an excellent animated web series. It has some notable voice talent. One of that guy who does the voice of the owl looking guy, Osmodeus. That's a Broadway star. He does Genie in the Aladdin Broadway show. Thank you, Vivian Madrano. Thank you, Bad Boy. Thank you, Casfe. Vivian Madrano. And I just fallen in love with her stuff in the past year. And we did a Discord discourse most recently. I was I guess a couple weeks ago. We talked about the Hell of a Boss up to the episodes that they've already done, which I guess was episode 7, part 1. And it is an excellent animated series, great characters, wonderful songs. And if you guys want to check this shit out, I'm going to go ahead and link you to it right here. These people deserve a lot of support. Here, did I post it? Oh, nope, didn't post it in there. There you go, chat. Go ahead and subscribe to them. I guess that's awesome to hear that. Apparently, maybe next episode's out by Christmas. That's right. The last one was Halloween. So that'd be cool. That'll be really, really cool. So if you love animation, you love 2D animation, and you love stuff that was clearly inspired by Disney Renaissance era, and you'll like this a lot. You'll like this. If you're like me, chat, you'll like this a lot. Juicy is naturally drunk. He doesn't need alcohol. Juicy's missing hair on the sides of his head and now growing on his chin. Whoa! I guess so. I guess this is going from here to here. I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you very much. We had a nice little tangent, chat. We go off on tangents here with Hell of a Boss, which I don't mind at all. Excellent show. Excellent series. And check out our Discord discourse. I think it was episode... I think it was like 7. I think it was like 7 or maybe 8 when we talked about this this series. It was great, chat. And now we'll move on to I think the last question from Vanny, and it says, "If you have time for one quick question, I do." And after this, we have another question from Newsy Ducky, I believe. First off, thanks to the radio city. Of course, man. Happy to support. You know that. Always, sir, I tip my hat to you as only a Manderville man can. I'm just generally curious about what you thought of what you saw of Endwalker when you raided in. Granted, that was one of the slower moments of the story, but curious of your thoughts on the graphics, music, combat, and what we did in Dungeon. I mean, I always wish I could get into an MMO and like play it on a regular basis. Because I think it's cool. Like the game you saw, I'm a Final Fantasy fan too, man. I mean, I grew up with that stuff. You know my favorite games in that series. And it definitely looks similar to something like 9. It's very much more medieval, kind of steampunky Final Fantasy, which I like, which we go back to that more, which you seem to be going back to with 16. It's just I can't invest I'm spread so thin already when it comes to what games I'm playing. I mean, I'm taking breaks in between games. I'm Deathloop and playing Halo Infinite. I gotta still play Far Cry 6. I still gotta play Metroid Dread. It's like all this stuff, and I just don't know when I would ever find the time. But what I saw was cool. I mean, I wish I could play. Mine would be Star Wars: The Old Republic. I would love to play that. Maybe someday I'll get into it if it's still around. Who knows? I feel like some of these games is like, I gotta play it now, or it's gonna die. We're gonna take the servers down. But 14 seems to be like it's gonna continue on and continue to produce new content. But it's just one of those things where I just don't know if I'd ever have the time to do it. Those are a big investment. So yeah, I respect it. And I'm glad so many people are enjoying it. I'm glad the game's getting a lot of accolades, and it's getting even more popular. So that's awesome to see. But I don't know if I could do it. I just don't know if I could invest myself in something like that. I'd have to, I don't know, I'd have to push a lot of things to the side in terms of gaming. And I like being a variety streamer because it's always something different. I want to play just one thing all the time. So I think that might be boring at least for me. I don't know if I could keep doing that. I feel like I would get bored. So, but yeah, but those that do, and then those that enjoy, hey, play what you want to do, But yeah, maybe one day I'll jump in. Maybe one day I'll jump into this. Nice little entry-level thing. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be fun to do for maybe a stream, like a week of playing that game and have my experience or something. That might be interesting. Call me Hazel. Good night, chat. I am getting sleepy. It's almost 9:30 here in Hawaii, and I've been up for before 4 a.m. Oh, shit. Then, yeah, you get your sleep. Call me Hazel, chat. Or Call me Hazel. Thank you for stopping by the stream. I appreciate you, even when you're making fun of my baldness. Hope you have a great evening. I'll see you next time, whatever that may be. But now, chat, probably still around. Yeah, I know it's still around right now, but how long is it going to be around, though? I just don't know. I always thought about that because I want to jump back in. If I had to jump back into one MMO, it would be that one. But it's how long is that going to last? Because I just don't know. And now, chat, we're going to read the last question. This is from Christina, also known as Newsy Ducky, chat. Here we go. Hello. I don't get a goodbye. You just said goodbye, chat. Goodbye to all those people. I get nothing. I get my hair made fun of. Just like school again, all over again. Oh, let me play Darth Vader theme. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. All right. This is from Christina /Newsy Ducky. P.S. You're welcome to answer this question last, and I'm doing that last. I'm going to end on a high note. Hello, I'm a new person, and I have a unique question. Use the scenario below to create a story with whatever ending you want. Okay. You kind of created for me already, but okay, that's fine. Last night, I had an interesting dream. In it, Chris was an evil hot dog seeking for revenge. Because a dessert called Brownie Wowie, played by Naya, stole his buns. No! She was helped by her friends, a kitty cat named Cat's Faye, a squeaky duck named Newsy Ducky, and an avocado played by whoever is in the chat. The avocado with bravado that's what he's named after. Excuse me, sir, I can only type so fast. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Clemmy. I got a little... I was bullying you right there. What about me? You know I'm selfish. You know I didn't give a shit when Klaus was going to die. He's going to go to his wife. I was like, no, you stay here and make toys for me. Oh, my Lord. What was I? A squeaky duck named Newsy Ducky and avocado played by... I will say it's avocado with bravado. Let's say that. How will Chris the evil hot dog and his gang of sausages played by whoever else is in the chat? Your choice. Save the day and get his mighty thick buns back. So you guys are... So I thought the scenario you've come up with... It's I'm the villain. I got that's fine. But I'm gonna save the day even though you guys are the good guys. Am I saving my day? Is that what's happening? I'm a little confused by this. The scenario you've concocted. See, I thought it'd be save the day is how do we then? You stole my buns. How do you then defeat me? But in this case, yes, this is my dream. Okay, all right. Well, if I'm evil, meow. This is Kaz. If I'm evil, I'd be like, well, I need my buns back. That's priority number one. I'm fighting things. I'm fighting a dessert monster. I'm fighting a dessert abomination named Brownie Wowie, chat. So much like, the Call Me Brownie abominations that we've had in the past. Part brownie, part broccoli, part girl, maybe. All that just mixed into one, just kind of molded together like a Frankenstein creature, chat. So you got to fight that thing. Got it. Newsy, Cat's Faye, I assume you're like from the film Cats, like the 2019 film Cats, gotta fight that thing. Okay, So basically Cat's Faye as a cat. abomination, and then Newsy Ducky as like as obviously a duck, like a Howard the Duck, if you will, like like in the original '80s movie. Okay, that was easy to take out. I can defeat that easily. And then an avocado, which I'm only picturing like literally an avocado with like linguine legs. Also easy to take out. So the cat abomination and singing, you've been singing and dancing. It'll be hard to pin you down and to defeat you. But so I'm concerned about the brownie abomination and the cat abomination. So that would be really hard. I feel like the Newsy Ducky one, take out instantly. But that wouldn't be an issue. I would send my sausage minions to deal with you. I don't know, sticking the sausages and down the throat. Is that what we might do? I think that could work. Just choke on it. I think that would work. And I think maybe with the brownie wowie, I need to get her some. What the fuck? How dare you? What do you mean? You want me dead right away? I gotta take you guys out. You listen. You came the scenario for me to save the day, which is to get my buns back. So I feel like I have to kill everybody. And so give me a minute. So I think the duck, because the thing is, like, you ever see like those nature videos of ducks and they swallow things whole? And it's like, let's just do that with a whole bunch of sausages. And so I would sacrifice, I'm making myself the hero. I would sacrifice all of my hot dog minions, and you would go until you choke dead. You're out. Avocado bravado, avocado. He's literally on an avocado with linguine legs and arms. I would literally pick him up and throw him, and he would explode. Brownie wowie would be hard. Like, oh God. I feel like I need to get her someplace warm so she starts to like cook from the inside out and eventually calcifies. And then you ever seen, it's kind of like similar, but not so similar. You ever seen Demolition Man when Sylvester Stallone freezes? Witness me. Manny, I read your questions, good sir. I went to questions. Thank you so much. I'm on the last question for tonight. It's basically a dumber version. It's a dumber version of sausage party. That's exactly what it is. I have to do it. The food killed them. How did the food survive? They killed everyone. You just finished Endwalker. Was it an emotional journey, Vanny? Was it an emotional journey for you, good sir? A pleasure, man. I was answering all your questions tonight, too. Thank you again for submitting them. I cried 8 times. That was asked a question if I got emotional playing a video game. Well, there you go. And now we know what Vanny's answer is. Endwalker. Boom. You call out. What do you mean I'm calling? I'm saving the day. Listen, I was just giving a scenario, Vanny, in case you don't know. Stream for 10.5. Woo! That's a long stream. That's a very long stream. Nice, man. Chat, please check out Vanispheres. Vanny, give that man some support. Was playing the Endwalker chat. Phoenix Demon King Red, good to see you. 13. This is the best version of Sausage Party. Thank you, man. I mean, what you got to do? It's either killed or be killed. That's what you have to happen. And so I have a scenario where Newsy Duck sent me this question. Apparently, I'm a hot dog abomination. I have underlings that are also anthropomorphic hot dog creatures, and I'm fighting Color Me Brownie abomination, a Cat's Fey abomination, Newsy Ducky abomination, and Avocado Bravado. Avocado Bravado killed him easily. He's an avocado with linguine legs. Throw him against the wall, dead. Newsy Ducky talking about how you see those birds, or you ever see like a seagull try to eat like a hot dog? Remember that seagull hot dog eating video? It's like that. Just stuff her with all them sausages and dead, just chokes. And Brownie Wowie, I feel like I would have to get like an industrial sized microwave and then just cook her alive until she calcifies. And then that's my point I was trying to make. Vanispheres, thank you for gifting us up, you evil frozen hot dog. That's what I need to do. Bro's like, I need to leave. Nom noms, yes. Bro's like, I can't be here anymore. Good night, Pro. Hope you had a fun time. That's your fans. Guess what I need to do. Thank you so much, Vanny, for gifting a sub to Newsy Ducky. But I feel like it needs to be like an industrial-sized microwave, and once she's cooked all the way through, I need to finish the job, right? And so she would be like, remember Demolition Man when Sylvester Stallone freezes Wesley Snipes, and then he hits him with like a pipe and he bursts? That's what I have to do with Nia Brown. Just explodes, so it won't be a threat anymore. And then Cat's Fey would be the last one. And that would be the hard one. Maybe I could entice her with possibly being the Jellicle cat, because as we all know, Chad, you want to be a Jellicle cat because that's when you're sent to, I guess, cat heaven, but not really cat heaven, because what happens, seemingly, you're sent into this aircraft-esque vehicle, and that is meant to crash and burn, and so maybe I would appeal to Cat's Faye's desire to be the Jellicle cat, and then send her off in a contraption that will most certainly meet, so she will most certainly meet her demise. And so therefore, the buns will be mine for the taking, but I would have to manipulate everyone. I would have to pull like a Ra's al Ghul or something like that. Like, I need to understand the weaknesses of all my enemies and then attack them at the same time and then take them all out, and then I would retrieve my buns. I would know, I know you would microwave cats. I would microwave Nia Brownie, or Brownie Wowie as you call her. She would be microwaved. Cat's Faye would be sent into like a Jellicle cat-esque device, which most certainly will result in her death at one point. There's no doubt. You, I would just stuff with sausage until you die. And then Avocado, I would just throw him against the wall. That would be the one I would physically do myself. Like, Avocado would be like, he'd be all derpy and shit because he's an avocado linguine man. And you would leave him to guard the buns, but he'd be like, hi, and he wouldn't even know what's happening. He wouldn't know when I throw him against the wall. He would know he's dead. He would have no idea what the hell's happening to him. And that's how I would do it. And I would get my buns back, and I would live out my life, and my power shall grow. Some of your sausages, yeah, that works out, right? Oh my lord! And there will be a dance fight. There'll be a dance fight initially, and that's when we'll dance fight initially. And you will have the upper hand on me, Cat's Faye. But I will then say, but what about the Jellicle cat? And you're like, what are we talking about? And I'm like, you can be the Jellicle cat. And so I would bamboozle. I would manipulate. That'd be my skill, my manipulation, my bamboozlement powers. Boom. Just throw Chat upside a wall. Yeah, that's what I would do. Just boom, bah. That'd be it. Chat and or Avocado Bravado. Whoever wants to be the avocado. Meow. I don't know if I'm in heaven or hell. That's fine, Phoenix. You're where you need to be. That is the dream of Newsy Ducky, of Christina, Chat. I would murder everyone to get what I wanted. as is the story of human history, Chat. As is the story of all humans. We murder anyone so we can get what we want. Typically what happens, Chat. And this is the same case here. No, I have my hot dog friends. No, the rest of the chat who wants to join me. Like, if you guys want to become my hot dog, like, abomination creatures and follow me, then I will let you do that. I mean, you might have to sacrifice yourself in order to, choke, to choke Newsy Ducky. But other than that, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Benny's like, pass. You sure? I mean, I'm a hot dog abomination. It's not too bad. It's not too bad, especially when they steal your buns. When they steal your buns, that is not cool. You get really pissed off. His Sasha Minis were expendable like Zap Brannigan goes, yeah, they are, exactly. Exactly. This is worse than you're reading my letter. What do you mean? What do you mean it's worse? I think it's pretty good. No, I don't want to be glizzy. Well, you know that if you kill me, I always be your boy. That's true. You come back, Phoenix. Rise from the ashes. Yes. That's how I would do it, chap. The only time it's not too bad should be said is first time trying butt stuff. True. RD's like, I'm heading to bed. Catch you later. Goodbye. Goodbye, RD. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Oh, but there's my story, chat. I think I did a really good job. It was a good creative writing session, and this is the last little statement made by Newsy Ducky. Have fun, and I miss you, chat. I'll try to be there when I'm feeling better. I hope you're feeling better. He's like, I hope everything's going okay. But there you go, chat. That wraps it up. That is my class on a glass cast for your ass with a little bit of sass. It ended with murder. It ended with murder, chat. As all things so often do. With death, chat, we are corporeal. We are corporeal. Our time does come at some point, chat. But we got to enjoy our time. Enjoy what we have, chat. And each other. So it ended with a nice little wholesome message. Thanks for stuffing with your sausages. No problem. Nice. So much sass. I got a lot of sass. I got sass to spare. Before I go, does anyone else have any questions for me, chat? Anything else? I gave my patrons thick, girthy, well-endowed answers as they deserve. I'm very nice. That was a thick, long, girthy class. It was 3 hours. 3 hours a day, chat. That's how we do it. Ooh, now I'm heading out because I'm tired. That's fine. Enjoy. Sleep well. Sleep well. I'm hanging out, Chris. Great stream. No problem. Stizzy, man. Thank you for stopping with the stream. This is the best stream ever today. It was a good one. It was a really fun one. Phoenix Murder is just another obstacle. It's another also. Thank you all for your hard work. Yay! You did. Yeah, we did good. We did. We helped improve the story. I love the feedback. I love the additions. Nice. What's the quick response to my last question about your thoughts on what you saw? Oh, no, listen. I loved how you were, I think the combat and the gameplay and the music especially, I think is very good. It's just like my thing is like, what if I were to get into something like that? I guess that was the point of it. My overall answer was, I don't even know if I would have like just the time to do so. Like any MMO, really, it's just so much to be invested in something like that. You can be really dedicated to it. But I liked some of the slower moments that you were even showing, because I mean, that's part of MMOs. That's the world itself. Yeah, there's many facets to it other than just combat. Sometimes it'll be like a funny little sequence where you're in a garden and you're talking to that fucking carrot-eating bunny abomination, doesn't know what the hell a vegetable is. Is this a carrot? It's like, that's not a carrot, honey, no. That's a pumpkin. Is this a carrot? That's a grape. And like, that's amusing to me. I think that's really funny. There's a lot. But I just feel like with me, I don't know if I could dedicate myself something to that. Because I feel like if you're in an MMO, you're in an MMO. This is what you're going to be playing. Unless you played all of it already, and then you're just waiting for expansions. And in that case, you could definitely take breaks. Lemon muffins. It's funny. But no, what you showed was cool. And I love how you're, that showcase the combat. Everyone has to work in unison with each other. You need the healer. You got the DPS guy. You got the tank and all that. That's always admire what goes into an MMO and how things work and operate. Whether it be the more story stuff or even the just the raids and combat and dungeons. Like, that's always cool to me. But man, just takes a lot of work. But no, man, no, it's cool. And thank you again for your questions, good sir. Chad, if you want to see some MMO shenanigans, do check out Vanisphere's streams. Give that man some support. I'd like to follow part of my Red Mage comment. It's stunning. Yeah, man, it looks cool. All sorts of, like a little firework display. Or explosions or spells. A whole bunch of that. Here's my reviews. What's the best or worst American remake of an international show? Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Of a show? Of a TV series? Huh. Wow. I don't know. I got to think about that one. I don't know. I can't think of it. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head either. Jesus. But there probably has been. It's like, this did not work. Huh. Good question, though. I'll think about it. I'll come back to that one someday. Come back to that someday. When you have feelings for someone, do you have a hard time with it? I mean, you got to be honest with the person eventually. I mean, you got to do that. I think that's important. Or it just becomes unhealthy, I think. But you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared for rejection as well. Steel yourself against that kind of thing. But yeah, it can be a little it have to be hard and difficult, but gotta do it eventually. Cat's face skins are pretty bad from... I know I never saw skins, so they did an American version. Interesting. Huh. Look at that. They did an... MTV skins. Oh, boy. That's amazing. I heard Grace Point, the remake of Broadchurch was terrible, and the remake to the IT Crow was god-awful, too. I haven't seen any of those. I heard Broadchurch was fun. Isn't it fucking David Tennant in both of those? Didn't he also do the American version, too? Weird, Chad. Yeah. I don't have like an answer myself. I have to really think about that one. I can't think of anything recently. Yeah. Not bad, chat. But now, my friends, now comes the part where I must end tonight's stream. I want to thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you for the subscriptions, the donations, the kind words. I hope you enjoyed yourself. We got a lot of raids tonight. I hope all the new people that came in here enjoyed themselves. An absolute pleasure to have you here. Hope you like the questions. Hope you like the answers, chat. But now, I got to get going.